So I figured we would get it in a little bit tonight to celebrate the beginning of a new year. Now, I know many of us acknowledge the new year in January, like they told us to, but logically, using your own common sense, you have to know that there's no way that nothing new is hidden in the dead of winter. Like, come on, you know, you got to know that. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to give people time to get in here because this is random, not announced. Y'all know how trash I am with this shit. Okay. By now, we should have developed a rapport. I've been having people want me to come on here and say some shit about some shit. Therefore, that's what we going to do tonight. I'm going to play a little something while everybody comes in here. I will be going on camera once we actually get started here. So y'all just be patient. Listen to a little bit of Sky Zoo real quick for a minute, and then we gonna get it in. Rest in peace to Bobby Hutton and all the legacies of what it seems like I'm in touch with. The proud underground as they leave out the discussion. Qualifying keepers and then see how y'all adjust. And I was lucky where I never had to look far. It was like a lullaby before Daddy took off. Standing how we got the green Huey. We got the green Huey. The vision bright enough where you could probably see it through me. With my fists up in the air, same shade as little Stanford. Reach for my umbrella, I was raised and letting cannon blow. Pancakes for everyone who need to get their plate filled. Pistols in the kitchen for whoever feel the way still. Younger me, talking the world is under me. And the stand above it is to never stand comfortably. White man come for me, no I ain't the typical. 7-point program, honor it like it's biblical. All praise do here and know what to do if they bring Charles J. through here. The shit I overheard, knew the code just like how we get to know the words. The revolution wasn't televised, but it was spoken word. And I heard every part of it. Bravery is no worry at the heart of it. Only know the clip, no bargaining. Admiring the beauty with the elephant. And Alton looked at me like, tell me what you thought of it. Right. Take one program. Number one, we want freedom. We want the power to control the destiny of our black community. Number two, we want full employment for our people. Number three, we want an end to the robbery about white men and about black community. Number four, we want peace and harmony, food, shelter, human beings. Number five, we want education for our people. All power to the people, cause your flag on the scale, and y'all power wasn't equal. So to take it back, he's down to help me reach you. Stories ain't alone, you be bound to get the sequel. Standing on the risk, yet still the Lord with you. Hannibal with this, first Bill O'Neill's and Roy missions. I was privy to it. Me and mine is blessed to say that we can live in proof. The same pride as yesterday is here tomorrow, right? But if you got some spare time that I can borrow, right? Then I'd love to put this on pause. Grew up off the strength, I come from pushing the cause. Built different now, I love to push you for raw. Built for the crown, won't none of them be ignored. They stole my parade, so pardon me if I call for flaws. But living through the step of my history, reparations every time I get a clean. My 40 in a mule, when they load 40 in a mule. For every member they took from us, culturally confused. Panther in my blood, shameful of my business. But the way business been going, shaming too expensive. And I heard every part of it. The bravery and all the worry at the heart of it. Fully of the clip, no bargaining. Admiring the beauty with none of it. And now you looked at me like, tell me what you thought of it. Yo, I heard every part of it. Bravery and all the worry at the heart of it. Fully loaded clips, no bargaining. Admiring the beauty with the null of it. And Alton looked at me like, tell me what you thought of it. All power to the people. Always. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. We ain't gonna give people no more time. Let's go ahead and get in here. Let me get on here. Let me get on here. Can y'all see and hear me clearly? Let me get confirmation of that. Can you see me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Y'all give me some confirmation of that, and then we gonna get right into it.
me switch this over. Let me come down here. God damn it. Let me come down. We're going to start right around in here. Okay. Y'all can see and hear me clearly. First and foremost, shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. Black first, second, and third. Okay? Mad love. Y'all hit that like button on your way in. Like I was saying earlier, New Year, right? Spring equinox. It was 2 days ago on the 19th. Some of us who understand, that we're not going to just do shit or celebrate shit just because they say we supposed to celebrate. Like, we can look at stuff by now and be like, well, that just don't make no sense. So ain't no point in me doing New Year with y'all. But in particular, there's no point in me doing New Year's resolution with y'all. Okay? There's no point in doing that. Even if you celebrate your New Year in the spring, there's no need for you to get into resolution mindset. That's basically the mindset of a procrastinator. I'm going to wait until January or even wait until March before I start to do things to improve myself that I know damn well I need to work on anyway. We too old for that now. If you know you need to better yourself, you know you fucked up, you know you can stand to go to the gym about 3 times a week, you can stand to eat better, there's no point you putting it off. You know there's a relationship that you need to mend. You know you the one that did wrong right there. You might need to apologize right here. Make amend, move forward. Ain't no point you putting that off. I don't know what this is that where we like to entertain this idea that we have all the time in the world to make amends. We have all the time in the world to do whatever we know we're supposed to be doing anyway to make ourselves better, which will trickle down to making our lives better overall. Don't put it off. Now, again, I'm acknowledging the new year when I'm acknowledging New Year in March, which is going to be every year in the spring, but I'm not playing the resolution games. We don't do that. Okay, you know you need to be better. You know you need to get better. Go ahead and do that shit now. All right. Now, I know during this live, black folk may not like a whole lot of what I got to say, but I'm gonna start this off with a couple quotes. One from a complete motherfucking cave racist. Okay, and J. Edgar Hoover. It's right here on my t-shirt. Right here on my t-shirt. When former FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was asked what was, in his opinion, what was the single greatest threat to the United States of America, he responded, Negro unity. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to deal with what Negro unity is, what it looked like, what it stands for, and what it means. Now, I'm going to read you this other quote by Brother Malcolm. All right, this one's actually on the screen. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. We're going to start off here. All right, we're going to start with this quote too, and both of them are very relevant. Y'all see this is Brother Malcolm, right? One we got from a full-blown racist motherfucker in J. Edgar Hoover. This one is the greatest mistake of the movement has been trying to organize the sleeping people around specific goals. You have to wake the people first, then you'll get action. And Brother Malcolm said that, all right? When people want to sit around here and I feel like oftentimes, and even back then, apparently we're jumping the gun. We're not making sure that the mindset is uniform amongst our people. Now, black people love to say shit like this. We like to say shit like, well, we're not a monolith. Black folk love saying shit like that. We're not a monolith. We brag and boast on being not a monolith. We have no unified principle that draws us or strings all of us together. We don't have one. This is why I make the argument that we don't have a culture. That's why I make that argument. Because a culture unifies you. You at least have a principle that unifies you. Now, black people sit around and say they're not a monolith because some black people might like Western music or country music. Okay, Beyonce's supposed to be doing her big run to take over country again, even though black folk been performing in country. But we'll say things like, well, I listen to country music, so, I ain't like niggas. I ain't like them. I listen to rock music. I ain't like niggas. I eat, I'm vegetarian or whatever the fuck. So I ain't like niggas. We're not a monolith. I believe in this. I came up like this. Even when it comes down to black pride, we are not a monolith. Matter of fact, black pride is something that is very, very scarce amongst black people. Always has been. Has been since J. Edgar said this. Has been. The government put forth the effort to make sure that black people did not unite. And at that time, it was a very small number in comparison to the millions of black people that are here, just like today. It mirrors itself completely. Back then, right now, we are not unified in any type of way, nor do I see us pushing to be unified, because we believe that there's no way we can be a so-called monolith based on any principle whatsoever, even black love, even black pride, even unity amongst us. We don't even want to bond on those things. We want to talk about how different we are. Whether you from here, you came up like this, you might be from the West Coast, East Coast, you may be a would-be immigrant, anything, whatever ourselves up. And because of that, they can play games with us. Watch this. I'm going to share this screen again. Hold on. Watch this, y'all. Hold on, I'm going to pull up this. I'm going to show y'all how, this is how the games they play. We're going to start off with Kamala. Now, Kamala came out here. I mean, if you're familiar with Kamala Harris, you know she came out here and acted as though she was some type of black. She played like she was black while she was running to be vice president. She played that game like she was black. Many of us understood once we got to looking in her history, we understood that this motherfucker ain't never been black, never advocated for black people in any type of way whatsoever, outside of going to a would-be HBCU and pledging in a so-called Black Greek. Now, this is an oxymoron in itself, but Black Greek sorority. AKAs, right? That's why y'all was pink and green and Chuck Taylor's, Pearls. She played those games. But if you know anything about her as a DA or ADA, whatever she was over there in California, you know that she was locking black people up. Okay? If you work within this system, your job is to lock black people up. That's the purpose of the system. As if you are a worker within this system, that's your job. No matter whether you're whatever race you are, that doesn't really fucking matter. Your job is to lock black people up. Okay? Which is what she was doing. For truancy and marijuana. This was her main thing. Now look at her be different now. Watch this. This is how she playing now.
We have gathered today, however, to address specifically the injustices that we have seen in federal marijuana policy. I've said many times, I believe, we all go to the table, believe nobody should have to go to jail for smoking weed. And
now, let me, I wanted to pause it right there, because if you hear what she said this many times. She said it many times. Now, the practice of her, what she could have done, the whole time she was in there, she could have been an advocate for this. But she says this many times, and all of us that's listening to this know this is a motherfucking lie. Now, at this table, while she's talking, she has a one fat Joe there, who I would argue is anti-black as fuck, just like most of the so-called Latinos or Latinx or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, that brown in the black and brown coalition. Well, Fat Joe's there because he smokes weed, and that makes him some type of representative of black people who smoke weed. I don't know. I thought it was crazy. I think it's crazy as hell to even be having this conversation with him. But she said many times, she said this, which is a lot.
And what we need to do is recognize that far too many people have been sent to jail for simple marijuana possession. And the impact is such that, in particular, Black Americans and Latinos are 4 times more
what she was about to say are 4 times more likely to be locked up due to marijuana offenses. That's what, I mean, it's a little clip, this shit cut off, but that's what she was about to say, that black and brown people are 4 times more likely to be locked up for these marijuana offenses, even though they make up such a small amount of the population. What she could talk about is the history. She could talk about where that comes from. She could talk about this, but she won't. And anybody that's going to have this conversation with you, they're supposed to be into politics, supposed to be intelligent, and they're not going to have the conversation with you in full as to why that is, and talk about the privatized prison complex and the money that's made putting black bodies in prison. We're going to talk about another prison they put out here recently, and this is a little quick sidebar. I just thought about it. In Maryland, they built a prison that was worth $1 billion. Cost them $1 billion to build it. Out in Maryland, in Baltimore in particular. What they're going to be doing is shuffling black men and women into these prisons more than they already have been. That's going to be happening. But she don't want to talk about that and who that benefits. Why the anti-blackness of this or the so-called war on drugs, why the anti-blackness of that can't be exposed, because then you're going to start unraveling the fabric of America. Let's go to a quick little history lesson. Let's go back a little bit. And I'm going to read a little bit of this. Well, let me get me off of here because I'm in the way. I want y'all to be able to see this. Let me bring me over here. Y'all need to see me right now. Y'all need to see this. Y'all need to see this. This is the conversation that needs to happen whenever we're talking about marijuana. We need to be talking about Harry Jacob Anslinger, cave, racist motherfucker. And I'm going to read this out here and you'll understand where exactly the so-called war on drugs started, how it started, and how it got to marijuana. Okay. Now, it says here, Harry Jacob Anslinger was an American government official who served as the first commissioner of the U.S. Treasury Department's Federal Bureau of Narcotics. Okay? That's where it was started at. It started out as the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. That's what they called it at the beginning. During the presidencies of Herbert Hoover, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, and John F. Kennedy. Now, if you are in a situation and you understand how America Incorporated, 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up, works, you'll understand that the reason this racist was able to stay in office and stay in this position throughout these many presidencies is because they agreed with his tactics. We'll continue. He was a supporter of prohibition and of the criminalization of all drugs and spearheaded anti-drug policy campaigns. Anslinger has been characterized as an early proponent of the war on drugs as he zealously advocated for and pursued harsh drug penalties, in particular regarding cannabis, regarding marijuana. Okay? As a propagandist for the war on drugs, he focused on demonizing racial and immigrant groups. He targeted jazz musicians, including singer Billie Holiday. Now, when we think about this government, most people are going to start with Hoover, J. Edgar, okay? Most people going to start with J. Edgar Hoover when they talk about COINTELPRO. But you need to go back a little ways to grab Anslinger. And what he had in his mind is that marijuana, black men, when they smoked marijuana, what it made them do, how it influenced us, was that we will run and then want to go rape cave bitches. This is a real campaign, a real logic backed by not only him and the government, but also the scientists. Because a lot of times when we think about racism, we don't spread it out. We make it where even if you acknowledge it, it's a government thing. Well, no, with racism and how it works, when we talk about systemic racism, the entire system has to be okay with what's happening here. Say he focused on demonizing racial and immigrant groups. Black folk, mainly. Okay? He was able to do that. This is on Wikipedia. This is not an unknown fact. It's literally in the first 3 paragraphs of his page, but yet he was able to serve under 5 presidents. That's because America's okay with that. As long as you're targeting black folk, ain't really no big deal. You're not going to get no anti-black, hate bill or nothing. You're not going to get none of that. You're not going to get none of that. So when Kamala's sitting here talking about how exactly, and you're right, TSA, you're right. TSA, you're right. Let me go put your comment up here. TSA said, I thought the movie Reefer Madness started the war on drugs. Reefer Madness started the propaganda. It was one of the propaganda pieces. But you don't get to have a war on drugs without the government backing you. You can make whatever movie you want to. But without the assistance of the government and somebody in the mindset of an Anslinger, somebody in that mindset would need to be pushing that, to making that law, to be enforcing that as law. A movie on its own don't do shit. But you're not wrong about Reefer Madness. Some of you may be familiar with that. I forget exactly what year it came out in. But it depicted motherfuckers being high as fuck and having to chase down cave bitches and rape them. Okay? This was and understood that's only if black folks smoked it. When black people smoked it, that's how it made black people act. Didn't do that to other groups of people, and particularly the white man and his mama. Didn't do that to them. It didn't do that to them. But this is the government. Anslinger is the American government that is okay with him targeting these groups. As long as it's us. As long as it's us, it's okay. Right? Now, when Kamala Harris is talking about this, weed, talking about marijuana, how nobody should be locked up, she don't go all the way back to show you where it came from. This was the DEA before it was the DEA, before Nixon decided to, coin the war on drugs, as a statement, as a slogan. And then, of course, Reaganomics came in and did more. And then you had the crack era and things like that. But it started off with them being against weed. Because when we smoked it, made us. Now, Kamala could talk about this. Because then once you start breaking down the layers of it, you see how anti-black it is. You understand that the law is unfair and it does target black people. Now, of course, a lot of times if you're black, you can't talk about this because then I'm just making excuses. I'm just being a so-called hotep and all this old extra shit, right? But you should be able to talk about this because it's relevant as to the fabric of America. 3Ks don't get this shit fucked up incorporated. She should be talking about that and where this even came from. But she's not going to. That's why I don't want to hear from a fucking Kamala. Kamala could have made her entire campaign breaking down the barrier. When we talking about federally, because we know that some states do have legalized marijuana. But we're talking about on a federal level. She could have made her entire vice presidency where she's an advocate or a spokesperson. No, first time you ever heard her talking about that, she's talking about many times. Getting on her lying. Many times she ain't did shit. Ain't talked about nothing, but we play these games because they're running again, right? And if you want to appeal to black people when you're running, you start talking about how unfair the system is and they'll fall for it. Don't we always? We'll fall for it like they're really going to do something different for us this time. Because the first 4 years wasn't enough for you to tackle this system and the injustice of that system. You didn't have time. But now that you're about to run again, and now they playing these type of games. Watch this. Look at your boy.
Yeah, child. Yeah, child.
Let me tell you something what's funny about these motherfuckers. You can always tell when they're campaigning. And entertainers, rappers, athletes, they're all a part of this trying to brainwash you into forgetting the fact that these motherfuckers ain't did shit for black people in any type of way whatsoever. This is what the Democrats are going to do. Okay? This is what the Democrats are going to start to do. So now you got Kamala talking about weed. You got Joe Biden's old cave ass. He probably don't even know who this is. She talking about some, yeah, Joe, because she got the song, yeah, Glow. Yeah, Glow. It's a catchy song. I ain't gonna hold her. I done heard the song. It's a catchy song. Okay. But she's talking about some damn, yeah, Joe. He like, no, yeah, you. He ain't even gonna say her name. Like, he ain't even gonna sing the song with her. He ain't gonna do the yeah, Glow with her. He not gonna turn up like this. He don't got to. The fact that she's able to even be next to him is enough for niggas. That's enough. This is why we prefer the form of democratic racism versus Republican racism. Because the tone is different. Black folk like to be talked nicely to. We are suckers for this shit, really. We say that women fall in love with what they hear. I would argue that all you niggas all they gotta do is talk. They don't have to change no policies. They don't have to do none of that. They can fund wars whenever they want to, tell you they ain't got money for reparations. They can do all of that. But come time for a re-election, here they come. Kamala talking about some damn marijuana, how it affects black and brown people. And Joe Biden on here talking about some goddamn, yeah, you. yeah, you. Like, get the fuck out of here. We have got to stop falling for these games. And again, it's up to us to do this. I mean, it's really, to me at this point, I'm not going to hold the government responsible for making sure we wake the fuck up, for shaking us out of our slumber. I'm not going to hold them accountable for that. That's up to us. We see the games they play every election cycle. This ain't even new shit. And of course, you're going to get into the lesser of two evil bag. We want our racism with a certain tone. We don't want them calling us niggers all outright to our face. Okay? We don't want to do that. So we're going to support the lesser of two evils, which has been the Democrats for a very long time. But they'll play these games. Watch this. Now, I'm going to be going through some of my posts here. Y'all hit that like button if you get a chance. Let me show y'all about this culture that I'm talking about. See, they understand how to work us because they've studied our mentalities. They understand that there ain't really much culture intact, but they know our mentalities. Even our kids don't stand a chance. Watch this.
6 middle school students have been charged in a racial online bullying incident in Massachusetts. The students from Southwick Regional School allegedly held, get this, an online mock slave auction where white students could bid on their black classmates.
Let me just pause this real quick to say, you're going to talk about some get this. Like it's about to be some of the craziest shit you ever heard in life. And she says that in Massachusetts, they had a slave auction up on a website. The caves, their children that are passing now this legacy on to these grown caves pass this legacy down to their children. But she's talking about some get this. Like, ma'am, you where you been? Where you been?
According to the DA, the students participated in hateful, racist conduct on social media platform Snapchat. Several of those students were suspended, including 2 for 25 days, 1 for 45 days, while 6 of the students were charged with threats to commit a crime. Now, CNN reached out to the Southwick Regional School and Southwick Toll and Granville School District for statements, but we have not heard back yet. But joining me now is the mother of one of the victims, Allison Lopez. I just cannot believe that your daughter has had to experience this. I mean, it's horrifying. It's shocking for many reasons. Can you explain, Allison, exactly what she has gone through now?
She's gone through a different level of trauma, right? When this incident first occurred, I watched her immediately go into a trauma response. And today, she still has that same state of mind. It's hard for her every day. Some days could be a little bit better, depending on if she has a friend in her class to really associate herself with. But for the most part, it's a hard thing for her. She's still struggling.
That's heartbreaking to think of what that experience is like, to know that she's got to see if she's got a safe space per classroom to know how her day is going to go. How did she even learn? How did you learn about this auction?
I received a phone call from the school a couple hours after she entered the school. She woke up the morning of February 9th, the day after the chat happened, and she woke up really hysterical, crying, in this trauma-like behavior, and I couldn't understand what was going on. At that point, she did not have the full in-depth of what happened until she got to school, when one of her friends told her what they heard about it. And at that point, she quickly went to the assistant principal office and shared what she was told, and that's when they started looking into the matter, and I got a phone call.
6 middle school students have been...
Now listen, let me tell y'all something. If you notice, now people can make it seem as though, we all be on some hoteppy shit. Well, when you have children, these little cave children that will go out here and spread their racism, their anti-black racism. Now, mind you, you'll claim it's not in their culture, but it is. Anti-blackness is white culture, okay? Anti-blackness is white culture. They'll pass this shit down to their children. Their children go up to school with your children, and you didn't equip your children for the type of games these motherfuckers might play. That's what makes our children susceptible to this type of shit, and on top of that, being hurt by it. Her daughter's going through trauma. This has affected her. She waking up crying because she was not prepared, because we refuse to prepare our children, because we think, this is the craziest part about us. We think it's racist to prepare our children for reality. We think that's racist. We've convinced ourselves that that's racist. This is why, again, we need a culture. If you develop a culture, you know you must prepare your black child. I don't give a fuck where you from. I don't care where you came from. Don't care where you are. If the caves are involved, then you must arm your children to understand how these people move. You have no choice. It's not you that's wanting to do it. It has nothing to do with your desire to do this. Nothing to do with your desire. Everything to do with reality. It's not your fault racist motherfuckers are out here passing this down to their children. That's not your fault. But what is your fault is the fact that your kid can be traumatized by that. You send your kid up to these schools with all these fucking white folk, and you feel like that's the better situation for them to be in. That's on us. That's on us. You feel like those are better schools? They're in better situations? That's not the flex that we think it is, sending your black child to a majority white school. That's not it. Now your kid traumatized. And this ain't just the first, this ain't the first time some racist shit done happened at a school where you may have teachers involved, you may have students involved. This ain't rare. This ain't new shit. And our children continue to be shocked by it, taken aback by it. Some we're crying over it because we're not instilling any pride in them whatsoever. We don't even think it's relevant. Watch this. We don't even think it's relevant. Watch this. Let me show y'all something else. And then I'm gonna get to some of y'all's comments a little bit earlier too. So y'all just be ready. Hold on. I'm gonna get to them. But watch this, and because this goes into my cultural piece that we still haven't established of any kind of culture. Watch this.
I'm hoping that by the mid of 2024, we can all come to some sort of conclusion as a whole. And that is for us to be done acknowledging and shining light on the same booty whack, attention-seeking, fake, wannabe rich internet-ass females in this watered-down storyline about how somebody sent them money for lunch and it wasn't enough. We are done. We're done with that. He sent me $15 and it wasn't enough. Oh, he sent me $30 and it wasn't enough. Like, who cares? But I'm going to put that on y'all. Because guess what, fellas? I'm pretty sure you skip past 3 great women to go check behind that rack. Why? Because she had a nice booty? Because her titties was perky? Because she had that look that y'all want? Then y'all get mad when y'all find out that they only want y'all for y'all cheese? We don't want to hear that. That's y'all fault. Same with you women. Y'all skip past the 9-to-5 man that's working hard simply because you ain't got no patience to stay down for the come up. And now all of a sudden everybody too good for 50-50, so you don't even want to pitch in and help build y'all empire. So that y'all can be running together. So y'all go check behind the rappers, the scammers, the drug dealers. Then when they play y'all face, y'all want to paint a narrative that all men ain't shit. Man, this is for y'all to suffer. Leave the not shit talk with the not shit people. Let the not shit men walk around with the not shit women. This is not our battle. It's time to start shining light on something else and talking about something else. Stop trying to paint this picture and this narrative that all black women just want men for money and that all black men just ain't shit. These are the people that y'all choose to give the energy to, and this is what y'all putting in front of everybody on the internet. And as a whole, we all look stupid. As black people, we look so stupid because no other culture has told these kind of conversations. This is like bottom of the barrel, literally. And then y'all acting like y'all rich. I'm so confused because inflation is whooping everybody's ass right now. Middle class is the worst class to be in. And if you are the middle class, we know where you fall. And if you rich, then this conversation ain't for you. But who's really just walking around just rich like that? No, just on the internet. We gotta change the narrative. And the only way we're gonna do that is if we stop shining light on these people that is begging for attention. We don't care about these fake badass bitches.
Now listen, let me say something real quick. Because when I listen to this, and shout out to this sister for saying this, because I've been saying this shit. I don't understand. But when she says no other culture is doing this. That's what she said. Watch this. Hold on. Let me come out because I want y'all to see me when I say this shit. Watch this. Here's what she said. She said no other culture is doing this except you niggas. What we're going to have to accept is that the reason that no other culture is doing it is because they actually have a culture. We don't have a culture. This is why we out here and we look like this and we will present ourselves like this. We'll make these type of videos. We'll make these type of comments, these anti-black man and or woman comments, depending on what side you're on, because we don't have a culture. I'm ready for black people to build one where we say we don't single each other out. I'm not going to dog you out, black woman. Ain't no way I'm about to get on the internet and black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman, just going in on black woman. I'm not going to get on the internet, black man, black man, black man. We don't do that in our culture. The reason that she says that no one else does it, no other culture does it, we can't compare ourselves to other cultures because we don't have a culture. We don't have one. I would imagine if we did have one, this would be off the motherfucking, we don't do this. We don't do this. Now, we may talk about men, women, but we don't single each other out by race. We're doing it. You're seeing a lot of fake ass situations, fake ass scenarios that people get into online every single day. Black people are online going in on each other about some fake ass scenario, something that somebody done made up, whether it be how much money somebody gonna send them for lunch and all this old shit like that. We are propagandizing ourselves. The reason you don't see any other culture doing it is because they actually have a culture. They done sit their kids down and told them, hey, look, you can say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, it's free speech, but you're not going to come out here and pathologize your own people. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that in our culture. But we don't have one. This is why these conversations get to be viral. This is why you'll see these conversations happening amongst black men and women. You'll see people making content like this, getting a lot of money based on content like this because they sit around and hate black people, hate themselves, essentially. It's self-hate projected out into the world. These people having these sad, and a lot of times it's fake shit that's going on anyway. So I don't really know why we take them seriously. But when she said no other culture does it, she don't understand that there ain't been a black culture established. There hasn't been a black culture established that's built on anything. We know everybody else shit is built on anti-blackness. And so their job is to always make themselves look better than everybody else. So their culture is going to support that. They're going to pass that down. You're not going to say white, this, that, or the other. You're not going to say Asian, this, that, or the other. You're not going to say Mexican, this, that, or the other. These other groups aren't doing that. Because they have a culture. You learn that from young. You don't do that. We don't shame these people when they get on here and talk this shit. We'll just engage in a conversation with them. Because we don't have a culture. It ain't built on nothing. It has to be built on something, or we're going to always be in this perpetual state of stagnation. We have to be a monolith. We have no choice. When it comes to ideology, when it comes to racial ideology, racial identity, we have to be a monolith. I don't give a fuck how much every time I hear or see a black person talking about this monolith, or we not a monolith, we need to be. There are some things that should cross over all. I'm talking about state lines, religious lines. It doesn't matter. We just don't do that. We don't do that. Since we pattern ourselves after the white man and his mama, because we really do everything that they do. I mean, literally, we do everything that they do. We made that our culture. In blackface. We don't have a black culture, because if we did, we would not be out here performing like this. There's no way you would be able to open the internet up and see a black man talking about black woman, this, that, or the other, spewing hate. There's no way you'd be able to open this internet up and see a black man talking about black women, or a black woman talking about black men. You wouldn't see that. It wouldn't. I'm talking about, because y'all, this is daily. Okay? This is daily. If we had a culture in place, if we would take the time to build one on more than dancing, seasoning food, and wearing clothes, if we would build a culture on more than that, with actual codes, rules, codes of conduct, things that you have to do, things that you'll be shamed for if you do this shit. You'll be shamed for it. Like, what the fuck wrong with them? You'll be shamed for it. but we don't have a culture. We don't have a culture. Hold on, I'm gonna take some of y'all's comments on that real quick. I'm gonna take some of y'all's comments on that, because I know that black people have a hard time hearing me tell them that they don't have a culture. That's an insult. So I'm gonna take some of y'all's comments on that. What do y'all think? Y'all hit that like button for me. What do y'all think? These are facts. Jay McClinton says non-blacks stay on code and support each other. Come hell or high water, even in Rome. This is how racism has permeated itself through this society, through the fabric of this nation. This is how it's been able to happen. Even in Rome, even in slavery, they're going to support each other. Racism, support each other. Jim Crow, support each other. They're going to support each other even in Rome. And they're not going to pathologize themselves at all. They're not going to do that. Much good is given says perhaps there is a culture. Maybe it's just trash. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because then what's the culture built on? You got to be built on something for it to exist. Okay, well, y'all let me know. Jack says we do have a culture. It's a generational thing. It's poor home training. What y'all don't got to understand about culture, and when y'all talking about culture, culture binds. Okay? Culture binds. It's what it does. Makes people be like this. So then if I ask you, well, okay, well then what is black culture? What is it? I don't see us like this. Ever. None. No locking of hands. Negro, what culture? What's the culture? Hip hop? Most people argue that. That's the number one answer is hip hop. The ghetto. That's the number one answer. That's considered black culture. You can't build culture on hip hop. Every black person don't listen to hip hop. You can't build black culture on the ghetto. Every black person don't live in the ghetto. You can't build a culture on those things. It's impossible. Because then this is where you get the black folk to come in and be like, well, I listen to, bluegrass country, rock and roll. Then they can splinter off from the culture. They'll separate themselves from, but I ain't from the ghetto. You hear it all the time. Those is ghetto ratchets, hood rats, hoodlums, thugs, whatever the fuck. I ain't grow up over there. That ain't me. I ain't them. Can't build a culture on that either. Culture is built on ideology, not location, not socioeconomic class, because this is the reason that you can have a very, very rich white racist and a very, very poor white racist. That's why you can have both things. This is why you can go in a neighborhood that's in Beverly Hills, they racist over there. You can take your ass to a trailer park and they racist over there. It has nothing to do with where they are, what states, country, passports, or green cards. It don't got to do with none of that. Ideology. School in Massachusetts having a full-blown slave auction. Children. These little cave kids did that. Where'd they get that from? It's an ideology. It has nothing to do with music and all this old shit. It has nothing to do with that. We won't even make pro-blackness our culture. We won't even do that. That's racist. We can't touch that. That's Hotepi. We can't touch that. You see? Can't be music, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, some of y'all said music. Okay, music. Okay. Somebody say sports. Okay, we the best at sports, but you can't build culture around sports. Everybody don't play sports. That's a very small group of people. Everybody not athletes. Most of us are working class people. So then what binds us? The only thing I've known to bind people was based on ideology is Christianity. That's one example. Again, I don't even think we understand really. Black Christianity, that's one thing that binds, that I've seen to be able to bind black people, regardless of socioeconomic class, regardless of how they came up and all this other shit. That's something that I've seen black people bond over rather, is Cave Jesus, they Heavenly Father. That's the best example of what, even if the fact we don't have a culture, but that's the best example of us bonding over something that's an ideology. Christianity was able to do that. That's the best example. It's not hip hop, the arts, sports, the foods. Religion would be the best example to give. And you know where the fuck you got that from. This is fair. Mike says, I feel like we do bond, but off dumb shit that don't mean shit. Give me an example of what you think we bond over. So that way I make sure I'm understanding you, brother. Give me an example. What you think we bond over? Like a Popeye's chicken sandwich? Like, y'all remember that? It's like, what do we bond over? Bond over hip hop? What about people who aren't fans of hip hop? Again, culture binds all in the group. Okay? Everybody don't listen to hip hop. Everybody don't watch sports. You cannot do that. You can't. What y'all think? CJ say fuckery and drama. That's fair. That's a fair. Even though fuckery is one of those blanket statements, like, we do. Vicky says we bond over celebrities worship. Now that's an American cultural thing. So we got, again, for example, when you have a society built around celebrity worship, okay, this is something that America pushes. So this is why when I make the separation between sheep and coons, and you can be both, okay, the society has certain rules in place. Fanaticism is one of those things that's normalized in this society. You could be, let's say, for example, Drake or somebody riding in his car. There's going to be black, so-called Hispanic, the Asian, the black, not black, but the caves. Everybody going to be chasing this man's car, beating on his fucking window, trying to take a picture with him. That's something that they've normalized in American society. That's an American culture thing. Okay? It's a little different because fanaticism permeates all races in this country. And I would argue all over the world. It's not looked at. They didn't put fanaticism in the DSM like they should have. Like when they took homosexuality out, they should have put fanaticism in. Because what the fuck? How is this not something that's in the DSM-5? It should be there. It should be in there. Fanaticism. But you're right. We do, would be bond over celebrity worship and celebrity gossip. But that's not like that's white folk be fans. Everybody is fans of somebody. And I think it's something is wrong with that. Something is most definitely wrong with that. Something is wrong. Gina Turner says, as long as black people are the best dressed and can season collard greens, that's all they consider culture. And we don't want to deal with it. We do not want to deal with that. Gina, that's a fucking word. That's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. We don't want to deal with that. That's what we think our culture is. Being fly, snazzy even, whatever the fuck, and putting a goddamn turkey neck or neck bone in some greens. Knowing that's how you supposed to make greens. Throw the neck bone in there. Ham hock or whatever the fuck you want to put in there. That's considered culture. Watch this. Tara, this is good. That's a good example. Says we bond off black trauma. Give me an example of what black trauma is. Because it can't be nothing that got nothing to do with racism, because we can't even decide, most black people like racism. Nah, man, that shit gone. That shit out of here. We ain't dealing with that. That's not a real thing. There's a few bad apples, but by and large, black folks start talking like that. We got to deal with, okay, I wish we did. Tierra says our history. I wish we bonded off our history. Then we wouldn't only do it in February. You see? If we really bonded off our history, which I think we should, we have a very powerful history. We have a history also, I say the overlay of black history, but then the underbelly, the full-blown underbelly is white racism. And what that's made us have to do and how it's made us have to move throughout our history and what we had the battles we've had to fight throughout our history. But you know what a lot of niggas will tell you? They don't even want to hear about that. They don't even want to talk about that. They don't even want to hear you talking about it. You just making excuses. Wait, I can't talk about the privatized prison complex and how it targets black people? Not just black men, black women as well? Check out the women prisons. I mean, I don't know why more black women don't talk about that. They don't. It's not just black men. It's black men and women. You can't talk about that, though. You can't deal with that. We can't talk about redlining. Can't talk about that. Not with black folk. You're going to be called a goddamn hotel, or you're going to be told you're too serious. We can't bond off our history. We should be able to. We should be able to. We've made great strides throughout our history. But black folk don't even want to hear about no history. They want to turn up. You can't turn up talking about history. But that's something you would have to be teaching your children, their history. And thus, maybe at some point we could bond off of our history and the greatness of our history. You can't do that. You're a hotep. You're talking about history. Talk about racism, because you can't talk about history without talking about racism. It's impossible. Anybody that can is lying to you. Like, that's how I feel. Like, anybody that can separate these two things is lying to you, even if they black. I.e. Candace Owens. Prime example. I'm gonna play a clip from that bitch here in a minute. But prime example. We can't bond over our history, because then you have to talk about racism. And to a lot of black people, talking about racism is a victim mentality. It's a victim mentality. Can't talk about slavery. You can't talk about Jim Crow. You can't talk about redlining. You can't talk about the privatized prison complex. Can't talk about the fact that in a lot of these industries, you're going to be blackballed. You got actresses and actors in the Hollywood talking about how they're not getting paid right now. Black folk. No matter where you are, you're dealing with racism. Many of us believe that there is some escape of this racism. No matter where you are, you're dealing with it. So they'll tell you stop making excuses out here. Or maybe you'll do like Steve Harvey did Monique when she was talking. We's black out here. Therefore, we got to shuck, jive, and coon just to make a way. What if cooning wasn't a part of our culture? Because I would argue that if we're going to have a culture, cooning has been our culture. Whole lot of coon shit. Whole lot of trying to big ourselves up or pick ourselves up out and run through racism. The layers and barriers of racism. Run through that. Take all the abuse it's going to give you. Make it clean to the other side. And look back and tell niggas, y'all didn't work as hard as I did. I didn't let racism stop me. You see? We can't bond over our history. Because then you got to talk about racism. And black folk don't want to talk about no damn racism. You may want to do it. Tierra says our history has traumatized us. If you ask these niggas who traumatized them, they're going to say they mama and daddy. And or. Ask black folk. When they talking about trauma, childhood trauma, because this is the main thing the black folk love now. They're bonding over this childhood trauma. They got their ass whooped because they snuck out. And when they got back to the house, they got their ass whooped. Now, this is a big, very problematic childhood to have. You did something wrong. You got your ass whooped for it. Now your childhood was traumatic. It's very interesting what we're doing. Now, we don't deal with the fact that America placed us in these would-be ghettos, okay? People are born there, not their choosing to be born there. We understand the men are being locked up for, like Kamala said earlier, marijuana, among other things, of course. At one point, goddamn jaywalking could get you some years in prison on a goddamn chain gang. Loitering could get you some years in prison on a goddamn chain gang. At one point, because these laws, you know, they are subjective. They are enforced on certain groups more than others. Now, me saying something like this, A black person gonna say you making excuses. All you gotta do is follow the law. All you gotta do is do exactly what the cops say. Y'all hear this shit all the time. Follow the law. Even though the laws are rigged against you, you follow those fucking laws. And that's you breaking through the racist system, the racist structure. Because you can do that, right? Baba Samurai says, it's not always victim mentality to talk about race. It depends on how you talk about it, though. Let me tell you what's so funny about that. Nobody tells nobody else how to talk about anything in their history except us. You can listen to a Jewish person. You can listen to a Jewish person talk about their would-be history and everything they went through. And there's no policing in how they talking about it. You see what I'm saying? There's no policing in how you talk about it, how they talk about it. Ain't nobody telling them how to talk. Nobody. Black people who went through the biggest atrocity on the planet, still dealing with the residual effects of said atrocity because the system itself is racist. You got to talk about it a certain way. And what I'm telling you, brother Baba, is that no matter how you talk about it, you're going to be told that you're a victim or you're having a victim mentality. The caves do it to me all the time. I just be talking, right? I have black folk that do it to me, especially these fucking so-called Republicans, the black Republicans. Oh, they're going to, you can't even mention racism in any type of way. You can't even mention it because you're being a victim. You're having a victim mentality, and black people let that work. And what's happened is because the white man and his mama all kept saying that to us. Well, y'all keep making excuses. Y'all keep making excuses over everything that goes on out here. And because y'all keep making excuses and just not working hard, you a lazy motherfucker. That's what it is. That's what they did. They just decided to say that you lazy. They chose that line of recourse. And they repeated it to you over and over again. So then what happened? Black people internalized the fact that we got to work 3 or 4 times harder than everybody else, assimilate to act as white as we can at all times because this is the way to get success. And that became our path to success. That became our path. That became our way. Assimilation. And all the racism, ignore it. Don't say nothing about it. Don't mention it. Don't talk about slavery. Don't talk about Jim Crow. Don't talk about the black codes. Don't talk about the anti-black laws. You can't talk about any of that. Somebody will tell you that you're making excuses. It was a movement. I do remember that. J.M. McClinton says, remember when the government bombed a Philly neighborhood to delete the Africa family? 1985, if I'm not mistaken. They did that. Did bomb them. Not ancient history. Not way, way back like Black Wall Street. No, they did it in Philadelphia. Did do that. Can't talk about that, though. Can't talk about it. Can't talk about that. Mike, damn good point. Mike said that's because the Jews don't assist the people who try to police them. They shut that shit down immediately. Black folk will co-sign other people trying to police us. Absolutely. Because they have a culture. And their culture says, we gonna talk about the motherfucking Holocaust, even though it only took place over the span of 4 years. Even though we got reparations for it, we still gonna talk about it. We gonna make movies about it. We gonna make these black people read the diary of Anne Frank when they coming up through the school system. Always remember, never forget. That's the code for a 4-year event, the Holocaust. 4-year. A 4-year event. That's what the Holocaust was. A 4-year event. Watch this. Let me go down and show y'all this. I see somebody talking about assimilation. Look at your boy. Hold on. Let me look at this boy. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Jonathan Majors gets sued by his ex, Grace Jabari, cave bitch. Now, you would think by now, you would think Jonathan Majors would be enough. He'd be the last straw for niggas, right? He'd be the last straw. You know what? We leaving these cave hoes alone. We not doing them no more, right? We're not going to do it. The fallout is oftentimes too heavy, has been historically, because again, this is historical context that could be, historical context. And we're going to get into this, and then we're going to talk about this, and we're going to get into Candace Owens too here in a minute. There is historical context that will suggest that this may not be the smartest play for a black man. Whether you rich, poor, in between, I don't know what or how one falls in love with a cave. I don't know how it works. I could almost understand the fucking, but the love, the relationship will blow my mind pretty much every time. It's going to blow my mind every time. Uh-oh. That's where a lot of this comes from. J.M. McClinton says, part of our culture is always trying to be accepted by them. I think that's the reason we don't have a culture. Because we spend so much time trying to be accepted, that's not something any other culture worries about. They worry about being accepted within their own race, within their own people. We worry about how other people look at us, which causes us to not even be able to build a culture because we spend all of our time being fake, flimsy, fickle, just to placate to the caves. Just to get them to smile at us. Not for anything real. Not for laws passed or anything like that. No, there isn't even a goal in which we're not even using it as like a trick. Like I'm a fake smile at these motherfuckers to, get them to be on, well, I can trick them to thinking that I'm really with them, but I'm really not. I'm trying to get something done. We ain't even trying to get nothing done. The done is the acceptance. That's the end goal. We throw our hands up. We don't won. Like that's a victory lap. That's why we don't have and cannot have a culture. A culture is unapologetic. It don't give a fuck. It gives no fuck. It gives no fuck. None. A culture don't give a fuck about being accepted. Watch this. Now, Jonathan Majors should be the last black man in the cave. It's not going to be. He should be. Watch this. Somebody was just now talking about assimilation. Let me show y'all something. This nigga here. This is what I'm talking about. Who does this? Floyd Mayweather reportedly spent $7 million at the Gucci store this week. We don't got no coach. Like, how? Name me one cave millionaire spending $7 million with any black business in existence. It's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. But that's how I know we ain't got no culture. From rich to poor, we don't have a culture. Watch, I'm trying to show y'all something. See if I can get this woman talking about being a good black. Here she go right here. Watch this.
I retired. From what? From being a good black. What is a good black? A good black is a person who changes themselves, who code switches to make themselves acceptable to white people. And most black people got a lot of training on how to be a good black because usually have to depend on white people for a job, an apartment, a mortgage. So you're a good black. Your job is to make them feel comfortable. And if we're honest, the more comfortable you can make white people, typically the more you will get in life. So most of us sacrifice pieces of ourselves, we muzzle ourselves, and we become good blacks. I retired from what?
Now, mind you, now how can you have a culture when, like she said, most of us are trying to be good blacks? You can't have a culture that way. It's impossible. If most of us are spending all of our time being good blacks, it is literally impossible for you to carve out a culture, considering this is what we feel like we have to do. I have black people tell me all the time they have to assimilate to, from even cutting their hair off and all types of shit just in order to get respect from the cave. I've been telling y'all that's a goddamn lie for the longest. But most of y'all is good blacks. Watch this. I'm going to show you how I know it's a lie. I posted this the other day. Look at this. Brothers work for NASA. Look at their hair. Look at this sister's hair. Black people will make you believe that there is no other path. Being the best. Now look at the pressure we put on ourselves. We'll tell ourselves we got to work 3 times as hard. Okay? We'll tell ourselves we got to work 3 times as hard. That's already in the lexicon, already in our minds, already an understanding that we got to have. Not only do you have to work 3 times as hard, you did also not just being the best. Then you got to assimilate. This is what black people will tell you. Then you have to assimilate. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's a lie that you keep telling yourself, that you keep telling your own people, that you keep passing down through this, idea of a culture that you may have. Well, if you want them people to like you, you got to cut this off, straighten this, lay this out, change your voice. That's lies. Be the best. You already done work 3 times harder than them. You going to assimilate too? And that's an acceptable state of being for us. That shit is it's bullshit to me. And I'm tired of black people saying it. You ain't got to do that shit. You ain't got to do it. You don't got to cut your fucking hair off, straighten your damn hair. No, you don't. You ain't got to do none of that. Watch this. Let's go to Candace real quick. I'm gonna play her a little clip, and I'm only playing this to show y'all. I'm only playing. We just talked about that bill, Watch this. Listen to Candace. She's going to tell you that and why she married a white man. She's going to let you know why she did this.
I want to go back to something you said earlier, because I know a lot of people hear you say, well, Candace, you're speaking a lot about, the black family, but then you married a white man.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have a huge problem.
They kill me with this shit.
Okay, I would love to.
They kill me with that Umar shit, yo. They kill me with that Umar shit.
Talk to him more about that, because it's always very interesting to me to hear this paradox of black people who will make an argument that the system is racist, and then also make an argument like this, which is essentially making an argument for the Supreme Court to revisit Virginia versus Love, and basically.
You see how she do? This is what she do. Now she starts off this by saying, it's very interesting to hear that black people talk about the system is racist. What she didn't say is that she will rebut any black person that says the system is racist. She would argue against them that it's not. She said multiple times that racism is not a real thing. It's more so what she gives one of those, a few bad apples. Go down to the trailer park and maybe they'll call you a nigger. She one of them. She only acknowledges that form of racism. Systemic racism she doesn't believe exists. So she's saying that black people make the argument that the system is racist, but they will then turn around and say that you're not supposed to marry a white person. That's her point.
Say that black Americans and white Americans shouldn't be marrying. I think the greatest thing ever is when people come together on the basis of who they love and get married. For me personally, I never thought of my husband as a race. It's very.
The fact that she can get on here and lie, you never thought of your husband as a race? Does he show up? He probably does. He one of them I don't see race motherfuckers. How do you? This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you don't see your husband. Now you talk about racism, or the lack thereof, rather. This is what you talk about. You saying when you met that white man, you didn't see race? You didn't look at him as a race?
Very interesting to me that I see people go, she's married to a white man. I look at my kids, I'm not like, oh, my kids are mixed. I married the person that it made the most sense.
She said she don't look at her kids. She does not look at her kids and say, oh, my kids are mixed. What the fuck are you going to teach them then? What are you going to? They're just humans out here in the world. Like, they'll be accepted everywhere. This is what listen, when you deal with the idea or the mentality of the would-be tragic mulatto, this is how. Typically, they have a coon for a parent and they have a racist cave for a parent. They had kids. These children, these 3 children, she says she don't even look at them as mixed. What the fuck do you look at them as then? Now, these people on the Breakfast Club, they're not going to say anything. But I would have damn sure been like, hold on, wait, so what are you teaching them? What are you saying to them? They're not white. They're not fully black. So what are you saying to them then? When people be racist towards them because they're not fully white, how do they defend against that?
Sense for me to marry. I have a mind that is just, if you even knew half the things that I'm thinking about, the stuff that I'm reading, just go all the time. It was difficult for me to find a partner that was a challenge to me, the challenge that I needed, whether you want to say an academic challenge, whatever it is, with my same interests. It just was. What you will know, a lot of times people think that when people come together, it's because of how they look. Actually, I actually read this in a Thomas Sowell book, or maybe it's a Shelby Steele book. People tend to marry their IQ, which is interesting. You think like if you see 2 black people together, it's because they are 2 black people, but actually they are probably better matched based on their IQ. I fell in love with my husband just because I think he is one of the most brilliant people ever. I love him very much. The stuff that we talk about, I'm like, there is no other person that I could have married. We have 3 beautiful children who are growing up in an environment that I am just so happy that I was able to, what every parent wants, to give your children better than you had, and that's all I can say. I'm just the luckiest person in the entire world.
How do you feel about you not finding him attractive and just liking him for his mind?
What do you think? God. He got the smear already ready for the journalists that are listening. And it says, her husband is not.
Now, she basically goes on here and she says that, she married the man who had the best IQ or matched her academically. Now, I don't know much about Candace Owens, whether she has degrees and all this old shit like that. She said she's reading books and doing all. Her mind is just on such a high level. It's always thinking about and processing all these things that she couldn't find anybody other than this white man that matched her as far as IQ. When you see 2 black people together, typically that's going to be based on the fact that their IQs are the same based on a book that she read from, I'm sure, somebody else white. Now, if you're saying that you see 2 black people together and they're based on them being together, it's because of their IQ. And I know how Candace Owens looks at black people, period. Candace Owens look at black people like they dumb just because they're not Republicans. So what she's saying is that when she see 2 black folk together who aren't Republican, mind you, they slow. And that's the reason they slow together. That's what happened with them. They're just a little bit slow together. That's what she's about. They slow together.
It was a bonus that I also think that he's beautiful and gorgeous and handsome, but it really was about his mind. I know I married the right person, and I want every person to never allow race to be a barrier to you finding love. That is so foolish. That will stop you. And by the way, there's this. There's been so much.
How the fuck? Let me just say this. I don't know how these people finding love. Again, in Candace's situation, she could have found her an anti-black Republican or anti-black black Republican. She would have had the same. It's the same type of situation. Like, there are plenty of anti-black black men who call themselves Republican, who do all this other extra shit. She said that this man is intellectually where she is. Now, mind you, her husband, it was some so-called controversy with him because he had a racist ass website. Now, we know that he's racist. We understand that he's racist based on this website he had where he was facilitating racism on this website, right? And he got some bread on him too. I don't know, she didn't mention bread, but I'm sure his money made him appeal to her as well. I'm sure. But Candace Owens is anti-black, okay? One of the biggest anti-black voices on social media. She's anti-black full blown. Racism does not exist. Niggas just making excuses. She's one of them, right? That's her claim to fame. This is the reason why not only does she not realize the only reason that white man even fuck with you like that is because he know that you hate your own just as much as he do. He knew that was a safe space for him. Typically, when you see black people with these white people, they can't be pro-black. They can pretend that they pro-black. We see a whole lot of these motherfuckers faking, pretending like they're pro-black. But the only way that white man will even accept her is if she's anti-black. That's the only way she's going to be accepted. That's the only way any of these motherfuckers are accepted. If they had a black militant mindset, them caves would not be fucking with them like that. They don't like those kind. They are intrigued by those. I think some of them even think it's a challenge. Sometimes I think when these white hoes, these cave bitches be throwing pussy at me, they think it's a challenge to see if I can break his pro-black ass down. See if I can get him to, wallow down off in this cave. I think they look at it as a challenge. He talk all that shit, but I bet if I throw this cave pussy on him, he won't be able to stand up. He won't be able to make it through there. I think some of them look at it as a fucking challenge. But to be talking this love shit that she talking about, the only way that he would be able to love her in any type of way, or her to him, is because he's anti-black, she anti-black. That is what they bonded over. That's what they bonded over. She anti-black. Watch this. Much good is given says, what about her socioeconomic status? Maybe those type of men are the only men around her. I mean, if you're going to give her that out, hey. I'm not buying it, okay? I remember Candace. I don't know her suing her college for racism. That's the original. Well, I ain't gonna say I remember because I never knew the bitch, but that's on her walk. That was there. She sued her school for racism. Her college, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know if she's finished college, so I don't know what intellect, which I don't think college equals intellectual. I don't want y'all thinking that because some of the dumbest people I know got college degrees. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Some of the biggest coons I know have college degrees. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Candace Owens, the only way, even regardless of who she's around, even if she was in that situation, cool, she's around those people. The only way a white man gonna sit here and love her like that is if she's anti-black, or she's one of those type of people that's, well, I ain't black people. Those are ghetto people over there. I'm over here. I have this etiquette. I have the proper training. I can change my voice. I can talk so-called proper. I can do all these things to make him forget that I'm even black, or make her forget that I'm even black. That's what they do. You talk to any black person that is with somebody white, talk to them. Talk to them about racism. They go every time. They can't even compute it really. Only thing they're going to be doing the whole time you talking to them is trying to save their relationship or their mate, their partner, whoever that is. They're going to be trying to tell you how not racist that their partner is. That's all they're going to have time to do. That's it. You start talking about racism, they're going to start telling you how non-racist their mate is. Well, I think I found me a good one. They don't, And then later on, when you hear these stories about these interracial relationships, you'll hear how many times they got called a nigger. You'll hear these things happening and taking place in these relationships. I ain't making this shit up. That's what they do. That's what they do. Hold on, is she finished? Let me see. Maybe she got some more. She might got a little bit more. Let me see.
Toxicity, and particularly in Black relationships, because of the media portraying Black men as this or Black women as this, and we just have to stop doing that.
Have you ever dated Black men before?
Yeah, I dated Black men, which is another thing that I always find really funny because the media tries to portray me as someone who only liked white guys. Mm-hmm.
Who? Like, what type nigga? Like,
actually, if you want to be honest, I started off on a really strong Asian kick in my life.
Oh my God.
I thought I was going to marry an Asian man. I did.
Yes, what the fuck are you up there doing to my little twang? There ain't no damn twang. That is crouching tiger, hidden cave. She telling you she started off with this group of racists. This was her fetish. She wanted her some Asian boys. She wanted her some Asian boys. They asked her if she dated black men. She said yes, and then start talking about how she on some Asian shit. And Jess, coon ass up there talking about a little twang. Ain't no twang on no Asian. It's duck sauce at best. The fuck?
My first boyfriend was Japanese. My second boyfriend was Korean. I just really loved Asian men. It was weird, but yeah.
And did that get the Asian population?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's Asian population everywhere.
I don't know, was there a higher one?
No, I think I just pursued Asian. I don't know. I just liked Asian.
You just pursued. So you wait now, because women ain't supposed to pursue. She said she pursued Asians, right? They asked her about black men. She goes on to tell you a story about her Asian fetish. Come on, man. Like, hold on, let me.
Guys.
Yeah. And it's always fetishizing Asian men.
Oh my gosh. Stop painting the headline for niggas. What is wrong with you?
They asked her if she dated black men. She quickly said yes. Now, she couldn't spend time talking about the black men that she dated. She started talking about Asians. Nobody said anything. Like, why didn't somebody speak up like, yo, bitch, we didn't ask you about Jackie Chan. We said, have you dated black men? Where was they from? What states? What was they like? What happened with them? She dated black men was the question. Goes on to talk about how much she loved Asians who are also anti-black. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Like, Candace, get the fuck out of here, yo. Like, hey, why ain't nobody say nothing, yo? That's what be killing me about some of this shit. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you say something? You gotta call her out. Hold on. You gotta call her out on that shit. What the fuck is that? This is what I'm talking about. If we had a culture in place, Candace Owens wouldn't be where she is right now. She wouldn't be out here like that. She just wouldn't be. Because the culture would have affected her life too. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. Jalen, what? Rob, how the fuck did you think of duck sauce? I mean, it is what it is. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I don't understand how you were asked about black men and then proceed to talk about Asians. And nobody seemed to have an issue with that. Now, I'm not knocking the bitch. Like, if she ain't never dated black men, whether she have or not, I don't care. I don't know. I know them black men wasn't like this. They weren't built like this. Most black men are not like this. We're not built like that. We should be. That should be our culture. But we're not. So I don't know what type nigga she would fuck with. This is true. Naps TV says she quoted Tom and Soul, Akun, and Shelby Steele to convert to conservative scholars like that would give her argument credence. She basically suggested that black men are less intelligent. She did. That's gonna be okay. Because look who she's doing this for. Her white viewership will accept that, will love that. Her white husband will accept that and will love that she said that. That black men are less intelligent. And again, if we're using college as a measure, I don't know whether she is or not using degrees as a measure. She just said her mind be on all types of shit. She be thinking. Most of her thoughts are anti-black. She would love, I'm sure her and Thomas Sowell would have a great relationship. I'm sure she would. There are anti-black black men out here by the boatload. No pun intended. There were black people, when you even go back through the history of the plantation, there were black men and women that would tell if somebody was trying to get away. They had kids too. Generational big coon shit. Yeah. They had kids too. Yeah. This is where the no snitching, it's where it really originated per the runaway or there would be runaway slaves. But that was actually when it should have been codified, but you still had coons out here who was gonna tell. That was their job to tell. They had children. They had a bloodline. It is what it is. Y'all don't be laughing. Brandon, don't be laughing at that, yo. This is real. Crouching tiger, hidden cave. This is real shit. This is really what them people are. They are very anti-black. You can see how they treat black people over there in Asia. You can see how they're coming up through South Africa, how they're treating those black people over there. It's historical. They're anti-black. I'm not mad at them for that. I'm mad at us for not being pro-black. That's my issue. I don't give a fuck what they doing. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I think what's happening with Candace Owens right now, because I've seen her, she did a Joe Budden podcast the other day. She's on the Breakfast Club. I think they're trying to make her appeal to black people because it's voting season again, voting time again. So I think they're trying to make her appeal to black people in an effort to have black people kind of cross over to maybe being Republican. I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck what's going on, but I think I see that maybe they're trying to get her voice to be a little more relevant in black spaces, which is already a lot of black people that will argue that, well, she makes sense most of the time. Like, no one makes sense. Nothing can make sense to them if they're going to deny racism. How then does anything that they say make sense? Black people agree with this. This is what I'm talking about. There ain't no culture in place. There ain't no, and I'm going to paraphrase Neely Fuller Jr. Until you understand the system, white supremacy, and racism, everything else will confuse you. There is nothing this bitch gonna say that I've ever heard her say that's been like, oh shit, like no. I'm not gonna say the bitch is always, completely out of pocket or out of line, but look at where the fruits of her mental contribution. I call it contribution. Okay. I'll call it her contribution to the conversation is that racism doesn't exist. All of our ideas flow from there. Therefore, if the water supply is poison, I'm not going to drink the fucking water, right? That's basically like, if at the root of her, racism don't exist, black people, that shit's a thing of the past. Even the conservative whites that I sit around and hang out with all the time, they're not racist or anything like that. They love me because I'm black, because I'm a human being. Maybe she looks at herself like that because she says she don't see color. So maybe she think that they love her because she's a human. Candace Owens, if she slips and she's not a coon for any amount of time, she'll lose her white audience. She'll lose them. She'll lose them. She has to coon. These are facts. Michael O says everybody on earth is anti-black and black people themselves. These are facts. Black people themselves are anti-black. This is why you can't bond over history. Somebody said earlier, we bond over history. This is why you can't. Because if we agree on our history, then we have to agree on their history too. And that's what we struggle with. Holding them would be accountable on their history. Because it's not our history, one thing. In accepting our history and being proud of their history, then you have to accept the history of these people too. And black people struggle with that. We don't want to say nothing about the white man and his mama. We don't want to talk bad about him like that. We don't want to talk bad about him like that. Much good is given says, is cooning holding black people accountable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It depends on the energy in which you claiming that you're going to hold black people accountable, because I think the entire concept is ridiculous. You can't hold people accountable with no culture to shame them. The only method or only thing that you got on your side, because I think holding people accountable is one of the dumbest things that we picked up as a people. Like, you can really hold somebody else accountable. You can't. The only thing, if we had a culture in place, we could shame people, shame certain behaviors. You can't hold nobody accountable for shit. You can't hold people accountable. People have to hold themselves accountable. That's impossible. But I don't think cooning is holding black people accountable, because I hold black people accountable for being coons every day. That's what I'm doing. So I don't think it has anything to do with necessarily holding black people accountable. It's what you holding black people accountable for. It depends on that. It depends on where your energy is coming from. Like, for example, somebody like Candace Owens, she'll spend time talking about, let's say, racism don't exist, so-called black on black crime. She'll make that the conversation, things like that. And you'll see these conservative talking points. I mean, it's the same shit over and over again. You could call that holding black people accountable. I could come on here and say right now, y'all niggas stop killing each other. Did I just hold black people accountable? Stop killing each other for no reason. Stop killing each other for over corners and over hoods and over colors. Like, stop it. You look dumb. That's some high level coon shit. I can say all of that. Did I just hold them accountable? No. I said something. I said something that I disagree with the lifestyle. I disagree with it. But you can't hold nobody accountable. You just can't. You can't. It's impossible. And one of the things that I find very interesting about black people is that as we say we're not a monolith, then we'll start talking about holding black people accountable. That's absolutely insane to me. If we're not a monolith, then all black people ain't doing this, that, or the other. Most black people ain't doing this, that, or the other, or, whatever it is. Like, talk to the person that you want to talk to. Me, I address coons. Now, sadly, that makes up over 99% of black people. But I address coons, the mentality. I address that. I'm going to hold black people accountable, not only for us being coons ourselves, but passing that coon shit down to our children. I'm going to hold us accountable for that. And that's why niggas ain't going to really fuck with me like that. They're not going to rock with me like that. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that. But Candace Owens, people who agree with Candace Owens, I automatically know that they're anti-black. Even if they're not outrightly anti-black, this woman done said racism don't exist. Why would you, as a black person, give a fuck about anything she's talking about? She should only be talking to the caves. That's the only support she should have. But that's not the facts. She has black people who support her, black people who agree with her. And I even seen on the post, in the comment section, black people were talking about how real it is, how real she is for what she just said up there in the Breakfast Club about being with a white man. Or the reason that she got with the white man, which, I mean, y'all, I don't give a fuck. Lay in caves, do whatever you gonna do. I know ain't nothing that I'm gonna say is gonna make you stop. I know it's not. Jonathan Majors, all the, throughout history, ain't nothing. If being murdered, lynched, told that you, being falsely accused of rape, being raped, full blood, if didn't none of that do nothing, nothing I say or Dr. Umar say gonna stop these niggas. Nothing. You can come talk to these people all day. They're not hearing you. They're not gonna hear none of that. So you can't even hold these people accountable that are in these interracial relationships. You can give your opinion about it. I would argue anybody in an interracial relationship, once you start talking to them about racism, the coon gonna come out. If you didn't see the coon in them while they were standing next to a white person smiling and hugging and shit, what's gonna happen when you get into the conversation? The coon gonna come out. That's been my experience my entire life. So that's what I assume about these people, based on my experience, is that they are some coons. That's what I got thus far. That's what I have. But the reason they got there is because we didn't have a culture that taught them that even if you decide, or some of y'all give Candace the grace of saying, well, that's the only people she was around. This is still intact. If they don't love you for this, they don't love you at all. It's impossible. I get worried about when I see people get standing ovations when I see white people give black people standing ovations. That concerns me. A coon would be energized by that. That concerns me. Right. A coon. Realist One says a lot of black people claim to like her because she has a different perspective. Right. A coon perspective is what she has. A coon perspective is what she gonna have. She's gonna be anti-black every time. And since black people are anti-black themselves, coons of a feather flock together, right? We know that. We understand that over here. It's all good, right? I understand that. Anybody that agrees with Candace Owens, somebody else, Kanye West, Charleston White, these people's opinions of black people, I already know when people like that, when people are acting like these people are spitting the gospel, I already know me and them are diametrically opposed. I already know. We're not going to get along. We're not going to see eye to eye. We're not going to, like hell no. Hell no. No. We're not going to agree. People who agree with these people, as it pertains to blackness, we're not going to agree. Because to me, you're a coon. And I don't got time. But there's so many black people who are coons and are in their coon era. Y'all thinking y'all out here living this, what they call it, the soft girl era. No, niggas is living a coon era. A big coon era. This is what black people have been living now for years. Decades. Hold on. Let me pause 1 second for the calls. If you hadn't hit that like button, hit the like button. If you fucking with me, if you understanding where I'm coming from, put a B123 in the chat for a brother real quick, just to show a little love. You know what I'm saying? Let people know you was here and you repping black first, second, and third, because I've had to separate myself and put myself right here in my own little world right here, because black people just think we're not getting it fast enough for me. We're not getting it fast enough for me. Mad love to y'all. Mad love to everybody. Y'all hit that like button for me too. But I'll take some of y'all's comments now. I'm going to make the argument that we don't have a culture, but we can create a culture if we so well choose to, if it's structured in a way where there are rules, there are things that we don't do. There are things that we don't say. There are things that we don't allow people to say about our history. We don't let nobody tell us to get over shit. We don't let nobody tell us shit like that. That don't shame us no more. We can build a culture. It just can't be hip hop, though. It just can't do it. It can't do it. Jalen Harris says, so Rob, how do you feel about the people that think the world is going to end soon, aka Christians? I shrug. I'm gonna tell you what about people who think the world gonna end. And based on their evidence, I'll say the evidence that they provide is from typically religious texts. And those people, I do pity them, because the world is not going to end. Even though they're looking forward to that, it's not going nowhere. We have to deal with what the fuck we've allowed the world to become. And I think to avoid that, to me, we should have an urge to want to better society, better the world overall, which the main thing to doing that would be toppling racism and capitalism, right? We don't want to do that work. So I think it makes people feel better, makes them feel good if they could just say, well, world coming to an end anyway. Nothing I can do but just pray, make sure me and mine straight and just pray real quick. I think we like having that, state of mind, because then we don't have to do nothing. We don't have to create a culture. We ain't got to do nothing. We ain't got to teach our kids nothing. We ain't got to stand up with our heads held high and speak truth to power. We don't have to do none of that. We just wait on Cave Jesus to come down and do something about that shit. That's what we are with it. I pity those people, because I think they're looking forward to it. It just ain't happening. It's just not gonna happen. We gonna have to be here and we gonna have to deal with this shit. These are facts. Gina Turner says, and when you talk or when you walk in black pride, other black people get mad and offended by your black pride. These are facts. They will ask you, what the fuck are you doing? What type shit you on? You think you Malcolm X? All right. It's sad. It's so sad. Which, I mean, when people say stuff like that, it just means like, well, would y'all have been ridiculing Malcolm X? Like, would that be been what y'all coons would have done? Interesting. Very interesting. The Figure King says, we don't protect our so-called culture. Give me an example of culture. What is our culture that we should be protecting, in your opinion? In your opinion. Y'all give me some rules about culture. These are facts. Tawana Speaks says, niggas afraid of revolution. Absolutely. Absolutely, because that will require you to conjure up some courage to stand against the system. See, we can stand against each other all day long. That's light work for us at this point. But standing against the system, standing against the people who who work for the system, the people who share the same ideology as the system, that's the part that we are afraid of. That we don't care about it ourselves because it's not in our culture to care about it ourselves. See, like for example, with we were talking about the Holocaust and the Jews, they pass that down to their children. They make sure their children understand how serious this is. Understand that. They make sure their kids understand how serious that is, how much of an atrocity that was. We don't do that. We wait till February and let the caves teach our kids about Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and Martin Luther King. That's it. We did that. We sit by and do that. Our kids don't see us walking out here in this world, existing in spaces. And I'm not saying you gotta be like this. When I do like this, I'm not saying this is how you go clock in and you sitting around, yeah, motherfucker, y'all, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying at all times in your heart, in your spirit, in your soul, it's like this. And you clock in regularly. You go to work regularly. You do whatever the fuck you gotta do. But as soon as somebody get out of motherfucking pocket, you check them with your motherfucking head held high. When you out here in this world and somebody gets out of pocket or says some anti-black shit, you check them. That's what you do. People acting around like you walk around, screw-faced all the time, just looking at people like, yeah, you see this motherfucker? Like, that ain't how, I don't walk around here like that. I don't got to. Well, typically, I'm going to be wearing, something that's going to, but even if I'm not, let's say, for example, I'm not, by the time we in a conversation where we talking about racism, history, politics, everything goes back to racism anyway. So regardless of the conversation, it's going to work its way back. You just need to know. That's all you got to do is have the knowledge and be not ashamed of your history, not ashamed of who you are, and not ashamed of their history. I think that bothers us more than ours do. We ashamed to tell them what the fuck they've been doing. Not did before and stop, but what they've been doing, what they continue to do to this very day. What they continue to be okay with. Filling these prisons up. $1 billion prison out there in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland just built. You know who the fuck they gonna put in there. You can't say nothing about that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, to me, a part of the revolution, and we talking about revolution, it's right here first. Malcolm said it. You got to wake the people up first. You got no choice. And we not doing that. We still fucked up right here. You can tell by the conversations we have online. Look at the podcast. They'll give you a little peek into what interests black people, what we like to talk about. Relationships, sex, 50-50, all this old shit. All that bullshit. Listen to the things that black people want in a mate. Tell me how many times you ever heard black pride on that list. That's what I'm talking about. It's not even a part of how we think. It's not something that we sit here and actually give energy to. We don't even put black pride on a list of things we want in a black mate. We put money on there. Tall, dark, handsome, thick, whatever the fuck. Black pride ain't even on the list because that shit is not a part of our culture at all in any type of way whatsoever. And we need to change that. So I think a part of the revolution, the first part of the revolution, is going to take place right here. It's going to take place right here. That's where it's going to take place. We act like we all big and bad, but as soon as the caves show up, here we go changing our fucking voices and shit. Like they need that. Like they require it. These people fuck dogs. And you telling me you gonna change your voice for them? Fuck you talking about? There's no way you have a culture because you wouldn't feel the need to do all of that. You wouldn't feel the need to do any of that. If you had a culture, you wouldn't need that. You would need their acceptance. Tiara says, what's your thoughts on the April 8th solar eclipse that's coming up? The moon is supposed to be covering the sun or something like that. I have no thought. When it comes to astrology and shit happening in the sky, I got no thoughts on it at all whatsoever. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not one of those star people. I see them, looks nice. I know it's some other shit out there. I do believe that there are other life forms that exist. You know, I always say we can't reach the bottom and we can't reach the top. We can't put our hand on the back of space and we can't put our hand at the bottom of the ocean either. So, but as far as all that solar shit, it'll be dark. I'll still have to get up and go to work the next day. So I really don't. I don't give a fuck. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful either, Tierra. I'm not. I just really don't care about shit like that. I really don't. These are facts. Realist One said, I think you've said it before. We want to travel the path of least resistance. Absolutely, because it's the path we've been groomed for. When I played the video of the woman talking about good blacks, assimilation. That's the path our parents groom us for that. They groom us to go the path of what we believe is least resistance. Just be a mindless sheep out here and allow for yourself to assimilate and to tuck your blackness in, accept racist jokes and accept racist laughs and commentary and agree as long as you can pull yourself away from the hood, because that's one thing that black people have done is that we'll pull ourselves away from the hood. That's the hood over there. This is me, this upstanding, good, proper black, not knowing that the fact that the Black Wall Street wasn't bombed because it was no fucking hood. That's not what led them to bombing that area. It wasn't because it was a hood, and it wasn't because they falsely said some black man went and raped a white woman either. It's because they saw black people thriving. Business owners. What would be considered upright black people. Most of the lynchings that took place in this country happened to black men that were in would-be suits. Business owners, dressed down. Didn't have shit to do with no motherfucking hood. But we don't want to acknowledge that, though. We spend all our time trying to separate ourselves from the hood. Pull back from the hood. I'm not one with the hood. Them some ghetto, fuck them people, right? Whole time. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You just trying to make yourself look better in front of white folk. That's why you change your motherfucking voice to make sure you don't even sound nothing like hood when you're around them. Taking the bass out of your voice. Black man, you fucking coward. Sounding like a white bitch when them motherfuckers show up, black woman, you fucking coward. You a fucking coward. That's what we are. That's the path of least resistance. We've been taught to assimilate. That's the culture that our parents passed down to us. I'm going to show you how to exist out here with these people. That's what they gave us. No black pride at all. These are facts. Act accordingly says your energy changes when you take them off the pedestal and they seem to sense it. Absolutely. I did it myself. I'm not disrespected by these people out here. They may say some stupid shit, but I think that a lot of times they say some stupid shit because they're so used to black people just nodding their heads when white people talk. Black folk we listen, we give a standing ovation. That's who we are. We listen to everything they say. We treat them like they're gods on earth. We do that. We don't think about their nefarious, diabolical nature. I do. I don't give a fuck whether they got on a suit, whether they dressed in rags, whether they in the fucking trailer park, whether they got on a fucking doctor's coat. I don't give a fuck because I understand racism, systemic and otherwise. I get racism, systemic and otherwise. So therefore, you're not going to make me feel comfortable because you got on certain clothes and you talking to me a certain way. That's what happened when you take them bitches off that pedestal. I know I ain't got to take no bass out of my motherfucking voice. I ain't got to calm no shit down for you. I speak. I know the words. I'm going to speak them in my regular voice. I ain't gotta do that. And I stand up for my people at all times, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing. It may not always be relevant. Like I said, I ain't walking around like, you see this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Black power, bitch. Like, I ain't gotta do all that. But when it come time for it, because it's already in me. It's up in me at all times. So I'll be ready for it. And they can't argue with me about what we talking about, racism. Like it's a thing of the past. No, it ain't. But that's not what come on now. We don't do that. We don't do that. We tuck that shit in. Look at the conversation we having on this internet. Relationship 50-50. You got niggas out here, just like the woman said in that video I played earlier. You got niggas out here faking like they rich. Just to try to be different. To try to act like they something that they're not. You are working class niggas. Newsflash. You working class. You working class. Now, I don't know what's happened here to where that's a shameful thing online. Everybody makes 6 figures. Everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody's looking for some high value motherfucker, right? You are working class niggas. Stop lying. Not only to yourself, you're lying to everybody else too. Stop lying. It's creating even more of a facade out here. This shit don't even be real shit. You get on this internet and y'all have conversations about the dumbest, most ridiculous shit. It don't matter who's leading the conversation, whether it's black men, whether it's black women. Both of you motherfuckers out of line and out of order. And if we actually had a culture in place, you would be shamed for this. For representing our people this way. That's all you niggas got to talk about. All this real shit going on out here, and you niggas ain't got nothing else to talk about. Get the fuck out of here. I don't respect that shit at all. I don't respect that shit at all. Jen Turner says, Rob, what do you think about the illegal immigrants getting all these government handouts? I think nothing about the immigrants themselves. I think everything about the government. It's the government. Because you said it. I mean, you answered the question right there. Government handouts. That means they're not running up taking nothing. They're being given something. And therefore, there's no way for me to feel about that. I can feel nothing. Ain't no way for us to feel. They are being given gifts. If the government start giving me money right now, I don't know. I guess I've had several debates about this. Some were cool. People were really, really mad about immigrants. But I'm like, it's the government. Like, if we would just stay focused on who it is, America, 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up. And as mad as you are about the not you, Gina, but as mad as a person may be about the government giving the illegal the handouts, we just allow for this government to give overseas funding these wars. And that's always happening. Always. Always. But in Ukraine, remember? Then, they had been giving money to Israel anyway. But, giving even more money and weapons to Israel. I'm more, I guess, if I'm going to be upset about something, it'd be more so that the funding of the wars. But claiming that they ain't got no money. I don't give a fuck about no immigrants. I mean, I don't have the idea in my mind that this is my country. I don't feel like that. The only way that a person would be able to feel some type of way about illegal immigrants if they really thought this was their country. I don't think this is my country. This ain't my state. This ain't my city. This ain't my corner. This ain't my block. I don't think like that. I understand. Really, this country should be owned by the working class people. Should be. But that's not how this works. We understand this, right? But if the government is going to sit out here and give people handouts, I'm not mad at the illegals, the illegal immigrants, because I think they become legal once they start getting handouts, I would think anyway. But either way, that's not me. We're not the ones sanctioning that. So it's a waste of time for us to feel some type of way about it. We're not in control of that. We can't even get these bitches to stop being racist towards us. Now we're going to tell these motherfuckers who they can let in. We watched them do this multiple times in history to boost their numbers. We've seen them do that. We saw, now, for example, we saw down in, I think it was in Texas, when the Haitian immigrants, was it Haitian immigrants? I just know there was black folk trying to get in. We saw these motherfuckers on horses, remember? Horses with whips, and they was wrangling these niggas, trying to get these niggas the fuck up out of here. That's what they was doing. to black people. But when it comes to these non-black groups, they'll drop them off up in Chicago, drop them off over in New York, give them a stipend, give them a card, give them some money. They do all that for the non-black groups. That should be what our concern is. Look at how the fuck they're treating black people. I wouldn't give a fuck if they let the Haitians come in too. Get them some fucking money. My issue is the hypocrisy and the blatant anti-blackness. That's what's going to be my issue. Not who they let in and not what they're giving them. I don't give a fuck. I'm funding wars. All of us are funding wars. All of us sit here and let them poison Flint's water and it's still fucked up to this very day. All of us are sitting here while Jackson, Mississippi water is fucked up too. And that's just to name a few. All of us sit here while these atrocities take place at all times. I'm not about to turn and look at no fucking immigrants. I'm not going to do it. I'm not at liberty to do that. I don't give a fuck who they let in. Let's see what you got next. Let's see. Says, don't know if you spoke on this, but what are your thoughts of Beyonce fighting to integrate with the country music culture that literally called her a nigga 5 years ago? That's why she rapped in Us. Like, let me just say this. And I know if the Beehive sees this, I want you to know my condolences to the Beehive and any people that are fans. I think something is wrong with you. I think you have a mental problem. I think due to the fact that Beyonce did go through this racist, situation 5 years ago at the Country Music Awards, I think it was. She went through a situation there, and she's saying this is based on that. She's decided to come out here and make a country album as a black woman and take back the would-be genre. I have no issue with that part. My issue with Beyonce is her being part-time black. I don't like that. I haven't liked that throughout her career. I haven't agreed with her or any of these celebrities that are part-time black people at all. Beyonce could use her platform because she is Beyonce. She could have been exposed the racism that takes place not only in country music but in America because they're fucking cowards. Beyonce's a fucking coward. I don't respect her. She's a coward who only comes out here and she's black when she want to sell niggas something or call herself doing something that would be pro-black, like taking country music back. There are already black people that do country music, so I don't see her doing nothing but being a grifter, just like she was with her last album. And the fact of the matter is, Beyonce's not making good music. I don't give a damn what genre she's slipping into. Now, I'm going to listen to the album when it comes out because I'm not going to be the type that's going to say, well, it's trash, I ain't going to listen to it. No, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to see what the fuck Beyonce got going on. But her music been trash. The last album, that Renaissance shit, that shit was trash. It was trash. Now, I'm not taking away her right to do country. But I feel like what Beyonce going to try to do is come in here and kind of, techno, maybe techno country music. Or she going to go away from the sound. Lyrically, I don't think she's going to be there. Vocally, I don't think she's going to be there. In which case, it's going to be trash, whether it's country or bluegrass or rock or whatever the fuck category. Beyonce's just not making good music right now. That's how I feel. Right now. And again, she might correct me. Now, if I listen to this album and it's good, y'all follow me on social media. I'll let you know it's good. But I do feel like Beyonce does this every few years. She'll try to act like she on some black shit. Same thing with her just dropping this natural hair. She dropped a natural hair product line. Beyonce now dropped a natural hair product line just maybe a few weeks ago. She's on her album cover. Let me show y'all this album cover. Hold on. I'm going to show y'all this. Let me show y'all the album cover real quick. Let me get it over here. Now, how the fuck? Here's what I'm going to say. Hold on. Let me find it. That was her too, but that's not what I'm looking for. I need her album cover. Here it is. This is her album cover. Now, mind you, she's fresh off of dropping a natural hair. I'm gonna make this bigger so y'all need to see me right now. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Let me make it bigger here. If I can maybe I can make it bigger. I want y'all to be able to really see this. Yep. Okay. Now, Beyonce plays with black folk. She likes to play with them. She plays. Here you are, full blown. I mean, it looks almost like I don't know if y'all watched Game of Thrones, but she looked like Daenerys Targaryen, the fire bitch, the dragon bitch with the white hair, and you just dropped a natural hair product line. Why are you? What is this? What is this? Do cowboy hats not fit over afros? I don't know. Does it not fit over black people's natural hair? I don't know. But here's what I do know. I know that she liked to play. And one of the things that people who are support Beyonce, they don't call her out on this playing. This lady literally has the platform. She could do so much for black people, just informing black people on the reality of what's going on out here. I'm not knocking her. She went #1 on the country music, whatever the fucks. I'm not knocking her at all as far as the music is concerned, as far as her being a superstar that way is concerned. But the fact that she jumps in and out of her blackness whenever it's convenient in an effort to sell a product, that's what makes me think she's disingenuous. And that's why I don't fuck with her when it comes to this type of shit. Now, old Beyonce music, hey, she got some cuts. I'm not going to knock her cuts. I think she need to go back to making, regular R&B music at some point. I hope she does, maybe. But please, this country shit that she trying to do, please. It's just another grift, if you ask me. If you ask me, it's a grift. Exactly, Jay. Her and Jay-Z be on the same shit. Jay-Z do the same shit. Talking about black excellence, blah, blah, blah. Here you have this platform where you can really educate black people, but y'all don't ever do it. So I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it at all. That's just where I am with it. But I'm not a fan. So to be fair to people who are fans, I'm not in a fan mindset. I look at everything somebody does individually. If the music is good, then the music is good. If the music's not good, then I'm not going to say the music good just because I'm some type of fan. I don't think like that. I don't think like that. That's not where I'm at with this shit. Tawana said she ain't buying it. Tawana said, I ain't buying her hair products. She ain't getting my money. I just don't know how she going to do it if she not wearing her natural hair. I don't get it. But she thinks she can do it. So, it is what it is. Like, I don't fully get it. But she feels as though she can sell natural hair products with a long white wig on. Hey, who am I? What the fuck do I know? I'm sure she may get it off a little bit. Okay, I didn't even know this. Benji Baby says she was called out on it, and to be honest, I think that's why her team backtracked and said it's her mother's hair care line. Okay, they switched it to her mom. And I don't ever see the mom's hair either, so I don't see how that even made a difference. I don't see mama hair either. So message me. Jeremy Hill says, I was looking for a shirt on your website. I don't see it on there. I didn't see it on there anymore. Message me on Instagram or Facebook, brother. I just helped somebody else with a shirt issue the other day. I do help people when you hit me up. But hit me up right here and expecting me to remember ain't going to be. I get so many messages all the time. Mad love to everybody who sends me messages of encouragement. Everybody who lets me know, hey, look, I fuck with you. I like your movement. I like what you're doing. Mad love to everybody who do that. Even people who be mad at me sometimes. They want to debate something I might have said. Mad love to them too. But if you want me to fix it or do something, just send me messages on Instagram or on Facebook, or you can email me. If you email me, I'm trash about checking my emails though. So it's better if you hit me up on Instagram, really. Instagram or Facebook. Right. The Beehive. Figure King is right. These Beehive motherfuckers will support us because they're fans. Because they are fans. They're going to support her no matter what. Nicole Smith says Beyonce has long hair under those wigs. I never said she was a bald head, motherfucker. I didn't do it like that. I say you don't never see her natural hair. I don't care whether it's long or not. Our hair ain't supposed to be long anyway. That sounds a little different. Our hair is supposed to be big. Girls like this. For the most part. It girls like this. But I'm not hating. I don't want you to feel like I'm hating on her length of hair under the wigs. Like, that's not what's happening here at all. If I wanted to come for her like that, believe me, I would have. Seriously. I would have came straight for her. Pyro says, Rob, I had some fucked up responses from my old friend circle regarding the in regards to the legalization of drugs, in which they totally dismiss the impact their prohibition has had on us, i.e. marijuana. Look, listen. Whenever you're dealing with black people, and as it pertains to, now I don't know if you're talking about your old friend, you know, whether he's black or white or whatever, but once you start talking about how their prohibition was anti-black, you are going to lose some people. You're going to lose niggas, regardless. Because again, we don't like tracing anything to the core of this racism. Because that's literally, I mean, it's almost in everything. I'll show you, for example. Watch this. Let me show you this. I'm going to show you an example of what I mean here. How many of y'all familiar with HOAs? HOAs. Some of y'all may live in areas that have HOAs. Let me share my screen. Let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this. I'm going to show you, for example, and this is going to tie into what you talking about, Pyro. Let me show you this real quick. This is why. Do you know that I have had conversations with black people before about the racism that takes place, whether it be HOAs, whether it be redlining, whether it be home buying? Do you know that black people don't want to hear this shit? Let's go through it real quick. Homeowners associations, HOA, were first developed in the U.S. during the mid-19th century. However, didn't gain popularity until the 1960s. HOA popularity was driven by a rapid growth in suburban growth and a desire by white Americans to ensure they lived in majority white neighborhoods. Now, you can talk about HOAs and how much you don't like them. Once you start digging into the history, the HOAs simply were created for white people in order to keep black people out of neighborhoods, to keep the neighborhoods mostly white. Then you're dealing with something real. The same way we talk about weed. When you're talking about marijuana, you can talk about marijuana, prohibition. When you talk about these things, you must also talk about how their root is anti-blackness, just like with the HOA. I'll continue. Watch this. After Shelley versus Kramer, 1948, which declared enforcement of racially restrictive covenant illegal, along with subsequent school desegregation cases throughout the 50s and 60s, caused HOAs to skyrocket in popularity. Basically, once they got rid of the overt forms of niggas stay the fuck from around here, what white supremacy will do is reinvent itself as something that's less insulting, to hide their racism under other things. That's what they did. Once they desegregated the schools and niggas was coming, then they made HOAs very, very popular. HOA brought the promise of exclusion with them. The exclusion took place by using in-person prospective resident interviews, minimum credit score requirements, mandatory background checks, and de facto exclusionary zoning or private zoning through the enforcement of prohibitively expensive design and maintenance codes. Basically, we're going to come up with every reason in the world to keep you niggas out of there. To keep you niggas out. We'll do in-person interviews. Once I see that you black, you out of there anyway. Credit scores, requirements. We all know them bitches are able to finagle up some credit score shit. We just now get into this credit score game. It's all a sham, but now you're getting more black people that can actually so-called repair your credit. Watch out for the scams. Some of them bitches do be playing games. But this credit shit, background checks. Y'all know black folk, you have a record for damn near anything. Most of it just for being black. And de facto exclusionary zoning or private zoning. What they're doing is splitting up the neighborhoods and making this street over here where the niggas are and this street over here where the caves are. That's how they do it. HOAs now. Watch this. Back in 2020, Jonathan Rothwell, author of A Republic of Equals, told Business Insider there is plenty of evidence from historical records and housing policy discussions that anti-black racism motivated some of the strategies used by the homeowners associations, such as deed restrictions and covenants that explicitly discriminated against black people by compelling other owners to avoid selling to them. HOAs perpetuate racial and economic segregation by blocking fair participation in housing markets, thus denying wealth generating opportunities and upward mobility for many black people and lower income families. What they've been able to do is be anti-black in every single facet of life, whether it's HOAs, homeownership, whether it's marijuana and the laws that are built around marijuana, which we talked about earlier with Harry J. Anslinger. If you get some time, do some research on that, white man. But anti-blackness is at the root of pretty much everything. This is why you gotta know your shit. This is why being I would say that black culture should be built on pro-blackness, because you have to be able to combat this, okay, without losing your fucking mind. Going to that home and trying to get that home and understanding that, well, there's a cave here. They may try to discriminate against me. I've seen stories of people trying to go get homes and being rejected because they're black, but they'll have a cave go represent them to expose the racism that's taking place at a lot of these homeowners, whether it be the brokers, the realtors, whoever they are, they be racist as fuck. And a lot of times they want to keep these areas white. Not because they're all great areas. I ride around this country all day. What you'll see is that white people live in lower income areas, no different than nobody else. Matter of fact, most white people exist in these spaces, but they don't want your black ass around there. It's the same. Anti-blackness at the root of everything. If you're a black person and you don't understand that, or if you feel as though, well, we're just making excuses, these are the black people that I'm going to be juxtaposed with at all times. Or I'm going to be diametrically opposed to at all times. It's going to happen like that. I'll continue. In a 2019 research published by Science District shows that an estimated 60% of newly built single homes and 80% of homes in new subdivisions are part of the homeowners associations. Neighborhoods with HOAs have on average more white and Asian residents, as well as more wealthy residents, and fewer black residents than non-HOA areas. Anti-blackness at its core. Everything is anti-black. If you're dealing with black people that don't understand that, you're going to waste your time talking to them. You're going to waste your time talking to them. I do. It's a waste of time to even talk to them. It's a waste. It's a complete waste. When black people don't understand this again goes back into what I'm talking about, the culture. If we had a culture, we would make sure that our kids understand this anti-blackness. It's not you. We allow for our kids to have low self-esteem, get their feelings hurt, be somewhere crying, be surprised by these caves. We allow for this to happen to our children. And we don't do anything about it. Swear we love them, but we don't do anything about it. We don't prepare them for what the world is out here. It's anti-black. We don't prepare them for that at all. But we'll continue to say that we love our kids. We don't pass down everything's anti-black. If your homeboy don't see it, if you dealing with somebody who don't understand this shit, even as you coming into getting knowledge, and they don't want to see it, they want to say that that's an excuse that black people using, but the HOA literally is like this. They created organizations to be against you. Laws against you. That's what they did. That's what they continue to do. So there is no, don't let people tell you making an excuse. You're speaking facts about the HOAs. It's not an excuse. You're speaking facts about whether it be marijuana legalization or whether it be the prohibition era. There's a lot to be learned from studying the prohibition area and how they handle these people. How they handled the cave bootleggers and what they end up doing based on the cave bootleggers. How they end up federally legalizing alcohol. I don't see how a person could know the history of prohibition, know the history of prohibition and liquor in this country and how it became legal, and say anything negative about marijuana, anything negative at all, outside of the fact that it's kept illegal now federally because it's anti-black, and that's the only reason it is. And what many black people have done is they turn to drinking all these different liquors and stuff because it's legal. But I would suggest y'all stay away from that liquor. Okay, that's just a little, for me to use. Stay away from that liquor. But I mean, I ain't holding y'all. I know y'all gonna get fucked up or whatever. But it's all anti-black. Every bit of it. Every fucking bit of it. It's not your fault. You're not making no excuse. You telling the story. If we had a culture in place that was built on this, again, in spirit, we'll pass this on to our children. Our children wouldn't be fucked up somewhere crying. Not understanding. Their racist classmates being racist as fuck towards them. They don't know why. They don't understand what's going on. Because we done told them. That's how these motherfuckers act. This is what they're teaching their kids. If their culture is anti-blackness, yours has to be pro-blackness just as a matter of balance. We're talking about mathematics here. If theirs is negative, yours got to be positive. That's the only way you get balance. That's mathematics. That's reciprocity. But we don't want to do that. Instead, we'll sit around here trying to build our culture on a bunch of bullshit. Not making it our history. Not making it their history of anti-blackness. We don't want to do none of that. We think that's making excuses still. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These are facts. Xander says, remind me of Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood organizations being made specifically to be anti-black. Exactly. And she was a staunch anti-black. Like, she didn't give a fuck. She gave no fucks. Anti-black as fuck. And if I'm not mistaken, Hillary Clinton shined this bitch up. A Democrat. And black people act like they loved Hillary. Well, I ain't gonna say it was acting because of Bill. Because niggas fell for the Bill trick. The games that he played. And if we ever really take time out to do any real research on what Bill did when he was in office as a Democrat, I don't see how y'all deal with none of it. But Margaret Sanger, full-blown eugenicist, racist as fuck, anti-black as fuck. Hillary Clinton supported this anti-black cave bitch, which they are a team. They stick together, not knocking that part, but we didn't call them out on it. We still support the Democrats. Same thing that black folk about to do with Joe Biden. He'll come out here and play, have rappers around him. The rappers aren't intelligent enough to check him on the bullshit he be on and the bullshit that the Democrats, not just him, I won't say just him, but the bullshit that the entire, really both parties, the entire country, the entertainers, they're not intelligent enough to do that. So they won't do it. And then us, the hoteps, we don't get the opportunity, right? And then our culture tells us to shut the fuck up. Shut up. What have you done? What are you doing? And my answer is trying to wake you niggas up. That's it. That's all. Yes. Did hear about this. The Figure King said, did you hear they was making a Good Times animated show? I actually did. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen again. Hold on. I actually did hear about that. Let me share it. Watch this. I'm going to show you the post I saw just in case people don't know. Y'all can learn here about the Good Times animation show. Hold on. I'm trying to find the... Let me see. Here we go. Here we go. This is supposed to be a Good Times animation series. I can't say that I'm intrigued. I imagine that's dad. This is supposed to be the mom was the biggest coon on the actual Good Times. The mom was the biggest coon on the show. Hands down, the mom was the biggest coon on the show. The fact that they reinvented her with a blonde wig on may be indicative of her being that type of coon. Maybe that's what they're trying to show you. I don't know. But I know it's going to be a goddamn coon show. The only question is, what type of coon show will it be? What type? I don't know why they made him so oversized. I don't know. I mean, it's a cartoon, right? But this and then this, mainly this part, as you see me circling that little G. Let me make this bigger. This part right here, this is what held the mom back a lot in the actual show. This white Jesus. Oh my. This may be indicative of, they may be showing, yep, she a coon. This is how they show up. You see one with a blonde wig on and a cross, they on some coon shit. They on some anti-black shit. But the mom was most definitely anti-black on the actual show. So, I don't know. What they could have done was bring back the Boondocks. Find Aaron Magruder's ass, wherever he is. Nobody asked you for no fucking Good Times remake where the mom can be a coon the whole time. Nobody asked you for that. There's no balance. The Good Times, the mom was just a coon. So, like, what the fuck is that? I didn't want to see that. Bring the Boondocks back. Aaron Magruder, especially with the time that we in now and all this shit is going on and that be going on. Aaron Magruder, bring the Boondocks back. That's what we say. They want to bring back the fucking Good Times. JJ, his coon ass mama. I disagree. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Banji Baby says Michael was on his A game. That's fair. He was on his A game more than the rest of them. I mean, because, you're dealing with a family of coons, but that's fair. That's most definitely fair. But I would most definitely rather have Aaron. Pyro says, unfortunately, Aaron don't want no parts of the Boondocks anymore. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. I hate that, but I mean, it is what it is. I can go back and watch the Boondocks now, seasons 1 and 2 in particular. I'll go watch them now. I mean, that shit was ahead of its time, most definitely. That's fitting. The Fig Kings, and they gave the son blonde hair too. That's fitting. Watch this. Let me show you how black men showing up. Real quick, let me do this again. Let me show y'all how black men showing up. This is why I worry about niggas. I'm worrying about my niggas because what I'm recognizing is these niggas is, a lot of these dudes is gay. And for me, there's nothing wrong with you being gay per se, but the lines get a little blurred. The lines get a little blurred. Let me show y'all something. See if I can find it. Y'all's boy Gilbert Arenas. Let me show y'all this, man. Because here's my problem with niggas is they be on some gay shit. And it could be me and my I've been told that I'm very old school, like, I'm almost problematic with how or would be deemed toxic with how I feel about these bitch ass niggas out here representing us. And that's from the well off, the richer ones to the poorer ones. Now, if you're familiar with one Saucy Santana, this is an overgrown homosexual man with a chin strap, sideburns, and a mustache who wears makeup, who actually makes videos where he is twerking. That in itself is problematic. But let me just let you in on why some of these motherfuckers feel as though it's justified for them to act the way they act. Listen to this shit. Let me turn the sound on. This is ridiculous.
It threw me off.
I was gonna throw you off. That's why I said.
I didn't see somebody with nails and the beard. That was the problem. It just threw me. It threw me off. And then when I hit the video, twerk.
Did you like it? Yeah. You like the twerk video? He said it's like water. What is that? Oh.
The fuck wrong with these niggas?
Stop. No. Stop. Stop. I'm not
not gonna lie.
Let me just say this, man. Because I'm not finished, but I wanted to make sure y'all understanding what's happening. This man is talking about he done saw a twerk video from a one Saucy Santana. This man then says, I'm not gonna lie. Basically almost like he was turned on or thought the shit was hot. These niggas is gay. Okay? This is some gay shit. And laugh.
I'm not rolling, bro. No. I mean, all I'm saying, if I had to rate between who was better, him, I'm trying to say him or Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know who I'm gonna throw my dollars to, though. A picture.
How the fuck do you build a comedic rapport with this? This man put Saucy Santana next to a Meg Thee Stallion. And he said he don't know who he would throw his money at. What the fuck are you talking about, my boy? How are you saying this with laughing?
Show is a good show.
That boy said a good show is a good show. Now, listen. I'm not here to tell y'all who to like, who to be turned on by. When straight men, men that are supposed to be straight, are presenting this way, this shit is sad. And I'm seeing a lot of these type of videos where black men are out here saying this old gay ass shit and it's supposed to be cool, you know, where they like, this shit ain't cool, bruh. That shit ain't cool and you won't plan. You can laugh all you want to, my nigga. I know you'll be down. If you didn't have to worry about nobody finding out, you will fuck with Saucy Santana right now. That motherfucker called, look at this delusional motherfucker. This boy said, wait, hey yo, Gil, let me holler at you. I had a crush on you since I was a kid. You my baby daddy. Do you know I couldn't even deal with... Hold on, let me come back to y'all real quick. Let me get this shot real quick. Do y'all understand that I can't... One, the delusion is real. It's a very delusional situation. That nigga said, you my baby daddy, to another nigga. Nobody stops to look around, to check and see what exactly is going on out this motherfucker. This motherfucker said, you my baby daddy. This is what I'm talking about. Black men are out here on this internet, and I'm talking about it's getting a little tough for me personally. I have to make sure now that I separate myself. Like, wait a minute. No, this is not on code. This is not what black men are out here doing. This is a select group of maybe black men like say Gilbert Arenas that would say some shit like, well, I don't know who I would throw my money to, a Saucy Santana or a Meg Thee Stallion. When me, I'm knowing there is no way no man about to start twerking in front of me because I'm drop kicking this motherfucker on sight. Grab your knees in front of me if you want to, motherfucker. You can call it a hate crime if you want to. I wouldn't give a fuck. But you're getting the this is Sparta kick. Yeah, you getting that? Turn your back on me if you want to, motherfucker. You're getting kicked in your ass the fuck away from me. You've been warned. That may be deemed, now I'm not trying to condone violence. Okay? I'm not condoning violence against homosexuals or nothing like that. Because we live in a time now where it gets to be real extra. But I'm telling you, I'm going to kick, if this was to take place in front of me, I'm not going to be sitting around like, oh, I wonder which one. No, I'm kicking the fuck out of you because you disrespectful. A lot of these homosexuals, they be on some disrespectful shit, but it's because of niggas like Gil that will give them that little bit of life where he's like, I don't know what I would do. I do. Catch a hate crime, probably. But it's okay. Sometimes you gotta go down for what you stand for out here in this world, right? Like, this is what it is. Sometimes you have to go down for what you stand for in this life. Ain't no way. I wish that motherfucker would. I wish any motherfucker would bend over in front of me and starts working. Okay? There is certain codes that men are supposed to have. You don't have to accept everything. And black men are being forced to accept everything. They gave Young Jock a hard time because he said he didn't want no gay people at no concerts because he didn't want people looking at him lusting while he trying to rap over a song. They gave him a hard time, but they called him homophobic. I don't want to perform with no gays because I don't want them thinking about sucking my dick. I don't want them thinking about me sucking theirs. I don't even want to be, I don't want to perform. You can't even say that. Can't say nothing. That's homophobic. Ain't nobody want you anyway. Look, straight men, heterosexual black men, you have to draw a motherfucking line. It is what it is. You got to. Or you'll begin to blend. And I'm not the blending type. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Y'all can chop this up. You can send this to gay people. I'm kicking the fuck out of them. They're not going to be twerking in front of me. Okay? Not going to happen. I'm straight for real. That's just disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me. And what I'm saying happening out here is problematic for me personally. You see what I'm saying? Right, Jay. Hey, just advocating for protecting my personal space. That just is what it is. Not doing it. Gilbert Arenas. That's gay. Yeah. That's gay. Black men gotta stand up. I know we live in a time now where can't nobody stand on nothing. Can't nobody, have a hard stance or you'll be canceled or whatever the fuck. I don't care nothing about none of that. I'm not with that shit. But I think black men in being controlled by this, being canceled, that's another form of cowardice. That we're feeding into that. Now we're feeding into that. Just another way for you to be a fucking coward. You already don't stand up for anything, black man. Now you come out here and the little things that you will stand up against, like maybe, hey, ain't no motherfucker about to be twerking in front of me. That shit gross as fuck, or I'm not with all that. You have to fuck around and apologize for that. So now what they got you doing, even when you do take a small stance, you end up having to fucking apologize. That makes you look like a fucking coward, which, I mean, at this point, I believe that a lot of us really just are, but that makes you look like a coward. Why the fuck you apologizing? Then you want black women to look at you like a leader. It's a little confusing. It's confusing to me. When I'm hearing men beg and plead for women to look at them like a leader, but then whatever society tells you to do, you do it. You a follower. How the fuck you a follower and then you gonna turn around and want to be looked at as a leader? It's impossible. Black man, I'm sorry. It's impossible. It's not going to work. You are a follower. I'm watching you grown men my age doing shit the kids doing, following trends behind children on TikTok, shaking their fucking ass, following every single trend. And then you want to look at black women and tell her she's supposed to look at you like you a motherfucking leader. It don't even make no damn sense. It will confuse anybody. It will confuse anybody. What the fuck you talking about? Y'all do whatever the fuck society doing. Whatever the kids doing, you doing it. Whatever these rappers doing it, you doing it. You a follower. You a fan. But then you a leader. How? How, my nigga? How? I ain't talking about your money. We're not even getting into your money conversation about you. We talking about your character that nobody ever want to talk about. When we talking about character flaws, now don't nobody want to, because you can get this money and you can still keep all your character flaws. I think that's where this conversation of would be high value and people can mask or mask their fuckery in money. They can adorn themselves in money. What the fuck do you stand for, though? And if all you stand for is money, then you're going to do anything to prevent losing said money, i.e. apologizing for some shit that you said that you shouldn't be apologizing for. Because now you're a slave to the money. Now you can't even be your real self. You don't want to be canceled. You don't want to lose out on no bread. Come on now. I ain't talking about your money, black man. To me, that is not where your value comes from, black man. Your character, what the fuck do you stand for? What you doing out here? That's, to me, where our value actually lies. what we stand for. And where I see us right now, we're not standing for much of anything at all. We're not standing for much of anything at all. I got black men want to get mad at me all the fucking time. I'm talking about over the stupidest shit. Because I don't hate black women. Black men still get mad at me for that. Because I don't hate black women. Because I don't hate black women enough. It's not at the right level of intensity. Like, you just ain't doing it right. You keep speaking up for black women. Like, listen, this is what I'm talking about. We don't stand up for anything. We don't even stand to keep propaganda from affecting. Not only are they our women, they're the women from which your kids come. Like, there's no other way. Black man, I'm not liking the form that you in right now. You don't let these motherfuckers convince you that if you go make a couple dollars, that you okay. Making money don't make you not a coon. Making money don't make you an upstanding man with integrity. It doesn't do that. It just, you can pay your bills better now. That's all it does. Your value did not increase. It didn't increase at all. Your ability to be a consumer increased, not your value. That's where I think capitalism is really clouding people's views on relationships. Only thing you did was you can be a better consumer now. That doesn't make you more valuable outside of the system of capitalism. You're more valuable to the capitalist system, but you're not more valuable in a relationship because of that. I know this is what they're telling y'all, but it's a lie. It's a lie. And they're misleading you. This is what's happening. This is what's happening out here with y'all relationships. But that's all y'all want to talk about. These are facts. And as Bob says, because hating each other is so counterproductive. Hating each other is something that shouldn't even be a part of our culture. Shouldn't even be a part of it. But since we don't have one, therefore anything goes. That's why it looks like a goddamn free-for-all out here. It looks like a free-for-all. Because there's no culture to organize this shit and have any rules. And we shame that. We don't do that. We most definitely don't fucking do that. There is nothing here for us to do. We can do anything. We can do anything. There are no rules. Black people can do anything. Because there is no culture in place that has any structure to it whatsoever. That's why hating each other should be anti-culture, anti-black culture. That's what it should be. But it's not. It's actually what gets us talking. It's what gets the people going. We'll congregate to hear conversations about the anti-black man or anti-black woman or both or whatever. We'll congregate for that. Talking about relationships. Everybody is just so special and owed all these things, and most of you motherfuckers ain't worth a fuck. You're just not. And that's not me saying I am. That's me saying most of us, we really not. Like, we I think what's happened now is that this fake, this facade that we're presenting as our lives, we're kind of leaning into that, and we're mating in this facade. We looking for mates in the facade. You in the facade, you're looking for a mate. How you gonna find another facade? Now two fake motherfuckers. Now there's two. That's what you get. You came on some facade bullshit. She came on some facade bullshit. Now it's two of y'all. It's going to last for a little bit, but essentially it's going to fizzle out. And because we extra and we wow, there's probably going to be a kid made in this situation at some point. That's how it's happening. Everybody lying right now. And I don't like that shit. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's a facade. It bothers me. When you listen to people talk about relationships, you're not hearing nothing organic no more. You're not even hearing it. Even amongst black people, we're supposed to be the most spirited and soulful people out here. We keep, that energy going, and even we done lost it. We done lost it because it wasn't in our codes of conduct or the lack of a culture. We done lost it. We'll say we are the soul. How the fuck we lose it? Now we talking to each other and about each other like we're fucking basically reading a resume. And you know how motherfuckers lie on resumes. Remember how motherfuckers do your resume and be like, okay, these words are too simple. You need to get you a thesaurus. You need to make these words a little bit more complicated to fluff yourself up, make yourself look better through words. That's what the fuck we're doing now. We're presenting our resumes to motherfuckers. And want to build real relationships off that shit. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. But that's the talk of the town, right? This is gonna get black people success. Until you do this, black man, black woman, you're done. That's just where I'm at with it. Whatever you do, doesn't matter. That's where I'm at with it. I'm talking about from your athletes to your entertainers, to your doctors, to your lawyers, to your judges, to your police officers, to your firemen, to your military people, to your bagger, truck driver. I don't give a fuck if you driving Uber, whatever the fuck you doing out here. Until we do this, there's no culture at all whatsoever. Nurse, doesn't matter. Anesthesiologist, you got the long names with the ist at the end. Doesn't matter. Astronaut, you have to. We have to. That's what it's going to take. And until, I believe, until we do that, it's a wrap. Everybody else has it done. It don't matter where they are. From being in the so-called lower income areas, even you niggas in the hood. Still, it should be uniform, monolithic. It should be. Every other group operates this way. We out here playing. We out here playing. Oh, man, it kills me. Leticia Saunders says, I hate that we're so easily entertained. It kills me. We act like children when it comes to entertainment. We act like we're preteen kids, adolescents, when it comes to entertainment. I don't get it. I'm not entertained by things that I have been entertained by before in my lifetime, right? Some things I take a little bit more seriously because I understand the effect that it's going to have and how this idea is going to permeate through my people, how many people it may affect, or seeing the amount of people that agree with some fucked up ass idea about our people and shit like that. I look at that. I focus on that. I'm looking at what is this trickle down effect going to have on our people, you know. But we're just, I'm going to tell you the proof on how we're so easily entertained. The proof of it is reality TV. Them shows where they just have, you know, love and maybe hip hop, or these shows where they just have black women arguing, fighting, black men and women having dysfunctional relationships. I mean, we're entertained by that. And what if in our culture, we don't do that? What if that was a part of the culture? We don't even do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that no matter how much the fucking money that they trying to offer us. We don't do that. We don't sell out. But selling out is a part of this, whatever the fuck y'all want to call what black people doing out here now, it's a part of it. So we'll sell out. We even make up fake storylines to be viral or to be popular or to be on reality shows. I mean, this shit is real out here. This shit is real. And don't nobody want to fucking say nothing. Don't nobody want to say shit. Want to tell me I'm tripping. Like, seriously. Hold on. Jayla, you remember that shit? They used to try to ban me for this shit right here. Jayla's my, yo, that's gay. I remember you used to say that. Yeah, they try to ban a nigga for that shit now, but I still say it. They'll try to act like you're phobic. Some kind of phobic. I'm like, yeah, that's gay. I ain't gonna, maybe you not, but that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I try to get them now. Like, they be mad, but I don't give a fuck. I'm an old school nigga. Like, and because I still stand on what era I came through, I'm not changing or adjusting for this society. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing that shit. A lot of older black men are doing that shit now. A lot of older black men are doing that. Like, be old as fuck and then just don't stand up for nothing. Like, nigga, you came from an era where that shit wasn't even cool, what you doing. Like, I know you did. That's the same era I came from. How the fuck are you doing this shit now? It don't even make any sense. What are you going to stand on? What is black men going to stand on? And it's nothing. It's nothing. Hold on. Hold on. Let me tell y'all something. It don't matter how many people that's probably going to disagree with me about culture. I think we'd be much better off people if we actually established the fact that we don't have a culture and took the time out to build a culture based on Black pride. Until we do that, it's going to be very problematic for us to move along in this nation as a people, because we're still going to be doing things trying to move the needle by voting. We're still going to be trying to move the needle by voting. We're about to do it here in a little while. We're going to keep trying to move this needle by voting because we feel like if we get certain people in certain places, and then they'll tell you to do a city and maybe your state legislator, or maybe get Black people in these positions. And Black people in positions doesn't matter because our culture doesn't allow for that to matter. If we had a culture, it would matter that a Black person is a judge. You see what I'm saying? It would matter that a Black person would be a police commissioner. That would actually matter. Right now, it doesn't matter because there's no culture that reins in everybody. So we got one thing in mind. I'm not going to allow you to be anti-Black in front of my face. I'm not going to call it. I'm going to expose it. Across the board, high, low, anywhere. Until we do that, it doesn't matter if we have Black people in these positions. I don't get excited when I see first Black this, that, or the other, or Black person takes on this, because I can't get excited because I know we don't have a culture. Therefore, I do know what mindset they got in there. If they got in there, typically they're going to be anti-Black. They're going to be anti-Black, or they're going to be pro-Black verbally. They'll be verbally pro-Black in certain situations, but behind closed doors, they're breaking bread with the caves. They're making deals with the caves that end up being anti-Black, or we're going to get the short end of the stick, as usual, right? But Black people will tell you, well, you take the short end of that stick and you use it for a motherfucking pole vault. Like, they're going to give us a short end, but they're going to tell us to go jump over the bar. They can give you a stick that's about this goddamn, Black folk out here with a goddamn, might as well be a goddamn popsicle stick. That's how much of the stick we gonna get. But they gonna tell you to pole vault over this. And if you can't do that, then you just a lazy bitch made ass, hoodlum, ghetto thug motherfucker. And we be like, really? You think so? We actually consider it in our minds. Because we don't have no culture that will just push that shit as soon as we hear it. Like, motherfucker, what the fuck you talking about? Do you need a goddamn history lesson, bitch? I got a popsicle stick. Trying to pole vault. It don't work like that. We allow for people to put this type of pressure on us because we feel ashamed about ourselves. That's what we do. And you'll see that. I mean, I witness it in Black people all the time. Black people all the time. Ask Black people what their culture is. Y'all, look, y'all do it. Y'all do it. Y'all do it. Ask Black people what the culture is and see what they say. I do it. See what they say. See if any of it is this. Like, you check. If you don't believe me, you think I ain't did enough work, or I ain't been out here enough dealing with this or being in this mindset, you go check and see what they tell you the culture is. And watch what you hear. You will not hear this. Listen to Black people tell you what they're looking for in a mate. You will not hear this. You will not hear it. Food, music, clothes, and some type of would-be swag. Attitude even is attributed to black women. You tell me what you hear. And then once you hear the answers, you'll realize why the Black Panther Party only had 5,000 to 10,000 members in the whole nation. Pyro says, Rob, don't know if I've ever even, okay, let me start off. Rob, don't know if I've ever asked you this before, but how do you feel about Conscious Lee? He speaks on some pro-Black points. However, he be defending a lot of rainbow propaganda. I don't know who Conscious Lee is. So that makes me trash. This is a bar. I don't know who Conscious Lee is. But if he's defending rainbow propaganda, then that lets you know how I feel about him. Anybody, let me say Conscious Lee or any other motherfucker, you cannot be, to me, you cannot be full-blown in my mindset or B123 if you're defending rainbow propaganda. If you're defending rainbow delusion, because that's what it is. It's just delusion. If you defend their delusion, because yeah, you defend their choice, or whether you want to take it away and say they don't have a choice, they were born that way. Okay, they can be that way. But that does not come before their blackness, in my personal opinion. It shouldn't come before their blackness at all. at all. But I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Conscious Lee has a K for a white. Wait, what? Oh, you mean Conscious Lee has a K for a wife? Maybe. And that's the case. That makes sense. That fits. But I'm not familiar with the brother's work, though, so I'm not going to speak on him specifically, but I would say any black person that's pushing and defending, homosexual propaganda, homosexual delusion, we're not going to rock with them. We're not going to rock with them. I don't know. And as Bob says, you recently obtained your passport. I'm still waiting on it. You got to go to the office and pay all the money and, give them your birth certificate and all this shit like that. And they got to still send it out. So I haven't gotten it yet, but I am. It should be no more than a week, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I might go with that motherfucker. It just depends on how I'm feeling out here in the streets. I got it mainly to travel for work and shit like that, to go into Canada and to go down into Mexico if need be. Right now, I can't go into Canada if I need to take some shit up there or deliver a load up there. And I can't go to Mexico either. So I got it mainly for that. Like, I don't have these, ideas of all this grand world travel I wanted. Like, that's not, it'd be a lie. I'll be out here lying. And I know we've gotten really used to people getting out here lying to try to sound good or look good or whatever the fuck people be doing, but that'd be a whole lie. I don't know where I'm going. I don't have any, actual plans to go or, I don't know. Wherever the wind take a real nigga, I don't know. Wherever the wind take me. But what the passport does open up is I'll have the ability to travel wherever the fuck, wherever the fuck I want to go. Wherever the fuck I want to go, but I don't have any plans right now. Yeah, hold on. Jay, hold on. I'm about to deal with that. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, my bad. Now listen. Jay talking about you becoming a passport, bro, Rob. Nah, I'm just messing with you. You know I ain't fucking with that. I ain't fucking with that at all. Realist One says, you heard about them passport bro motherfuckers over there getting robbed and even murked. I told them when they was on their way. Like, I told them. I don't know what the fuck they thought. I really don't. If you make yourself into a mark, you will be a mark. It doesn't matter where you go, you're still going to be a mark. I told them. I have heard about them, but I knew that was going to happen no matter where you go. If you're a mark, you're going to be a mark in overseas. It don't matter. You're just a mark. You're just a mark. I see the stories and I shrug. You was a mark. When you was here, you're a mark over there. Nothing's going to change. Women are not as docile and ignorant in these other countries like men like to try. These passport niggas like try to make you believe that they are. No, they see a mark, they're going to eat. They're going to mark. I mean, they see a mark, they're going to work his ass. It is what it is. They too easy. Walking over there happy as fuck, seeing bitch like they ain't never seen pussy before in real life. Like, you a mark. You was a mark here. You walked around like they here. What niggas got to understand about this passport shit is that you are a lame ass nigga. Okay? This is the part that won't nobody tell you because they're trying to get your money for these courses. You are lame. Okay? You lame here. You're going to go over there and be lame too. It doesn't matter where you are. Lame is you. You take it where you go. You can't escape you being a lame ass nigga. There's nothing you can do. What these guys, if they really gave a fuck about bettering men, what they would tell these men is that, nigga, you lame. You're lame. Figure out what your lame qualities and characteristics are and try to curb them, because if you do not, you can obtain all the money you want to. You can travel anywhere you want to. You'll be a lame hoe ass nigga when you get there. Same. Same. You a lame ass nigga. No one wants to talk about that. They're trying to browbeat women into liking lames. And I think that's the weirdest shit in the world. Not gonna happen. You're a lame. Get your passport. Still lame. Take the picture. I took mine. You still a lame. Get on the plane. Lame. Off the plane. Lame. Get you a little hut. Lame. The little $100 you got in your pocket. Give it to a bitch to get some pussy. You're still lame. Get the bitch. You're still lame. It doesn't matter. You still gonna be a lame ass nigga. That's what happens. So they look at these motherfucking mark ass men come over there and they get worked. Now I'm not saying I'm wishing death on these niggas. What I'm saying is that you are a lame ass nigga. And you're gonna be that everywhere you go. You may be looked at as more unique in certain places, but you a lame. Won't nobody tell you. They want to come take your money to take a class so they can try to give you advice. If you a lame, I can't advise you. I don't know why nobody would be real about this shit. If you lame, if you don't have the, the right, I don't even want to say stature or attitude, but the right mindset. You lame, you been corny all your life. You never been funny. You never made a woman laugh. You never had a woman really like you. You're lame. I can't give you advice. I can only advise you if you already got this part. You have the natural moxie in you to have women be attracted to you. I can help you, my nigga. You lame, can't get pussy, can't get your woman under control. You can't figure this shit out. I can't do nothing for you. They're going to lie and tell you that they're going to do something for you. They're going to tell you take your bitch ass to the gym and work out and get money. That ain't going to unlame you, my nigga. That ain't going to unlame you. Nothing does that. Y'all keep being mad. Oh, they give their good years to... Like, shut up, nigga. You ain't had no good years your whole life. The fuck? I ain't even gonna get into like, you've never even had any good years, my nigga. You've been lame the whole time and nobody told you. Nobody told you. You're lame. Nothing's going to help you, sir. Stop being lame. And as Bob says, you won't even hear it's pro-blackness from foreign blacks. They say the same thing as white supremacists. It's very rare. I've met some pro-black, would-be pro-black foreigners that, came here or visiting here and moved here. I've seen, but it's few and far between because they do have the same type of rhetoric. They do see black people as just lazy, shiftless, don't know where y'all came from. A lot of them be speaking on that bullshit too. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. And I have to get on their motherfucking head too. They get the same work. I got work for pretty much anybody that want to get work. But you are right. I mean, it's not a whole lot of them, but it just is what it is. Man, please, right. The figure king said, if anything, it's easy to get set up in other countries and not receive so-called justice. You're not going overseas to get no justice. Something happened to your motherfucking ass. Don't nobody even know you're gone. Motherfuckers want to telling black men, yeah, just come, go, do, wherever you like. No. You're hated all over the world. And what men like to do sometimes is they'll say, well, because a couple bitches want to fuck black men, they love us over there. No, they don't. Shut up. You're lying. You're misleading people. No, they don't. There's still a government faction. Wherever you're going, there is a government in place. Whether it's good government, bad government, strong, weak, whatever, there's a government in place. And know that most places you go, black man, just because a couple bitches will fuck you don't mean that they love you over there. Where are you getting this from? Who's telling you this? Somehow this idea that America is the only anti-black country in the world is foolish. And then you'll have these grown men who sit around telling other grown black men, or even the younger guys, which is the saddest part, to just come on over here. Get you a little bit of pussy for $40. Like you can't be set up for somebody to say that you raped them or some shit like that over there. Now, they don't give a fuck about their women in a lot of these other countries. But if something happened to your ass, you're probably not going to get no justice. They probably not going to give a fuck about you, for real. Because it would take America pressuring their government for your black ass. And America don't pressure no governments for you. No. And if you believe that, you are sorely mistaken. America is not going to apply no pressure to no government to find out what the fuck really happened with you. That's not real. But they don't have these conversations, you know. And these passport, they don't talk. Nope. They don't talk about this. Righteous Indignation says, how do you feel about the Haitian gangs overthrowing their government right now? I saw something about that. I didn't read a whole lot into it. But I mean, as usual, I shrug. Like, I know a lot of stuff, you know, when y'all be asking me how I feel about stuff, I want y'all to know that most stuff, I shrug. Okay. You know, like, man, that's crazy. Okay. Hopefully, you know, if whoever's, hopefully whatever, like your name says, whoever's the righteous side of this wins the battle. That's all I ever hope when I see stuff like that. I'm more concerned about how, what's going on in the Congo. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm more concerned about how Congo and the Congolese people are still being exploited down there in Africa, and how that nation or how that region is still a pretty poor region. They shouldn't be. I mean, they're sitting on coltan, which is used to make these phones. They should be a rich nation, and the fact that they're not, I think that's, you know, concerns me more so than Haitian gangs overthrowing their government. Because all I gotta do is get out of line. I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. America's gonna come in and fix it. So, you know, that's what we do. I mean, if you deal with, especially when you're dealing with Haiti, and you look at what Hillary and Bill Clinton did via the Red Cross and their humanitarian efforts in Haiti, you understand that we will infiltrate, even the French as well. If they thought it was some shit that was going on, or real shit going on like that, or if they saw that they can't control they'll come in and do something about that. They always do. To put whoever they want in control will be in control, and we'll have the protection. What that lets me know, the fact that they were able to overthrow their government, that means that the other powers in the world wasn't fully supporting the Haitian government, whoever those people were. Because if it was somebody that America had placed in there to run Haiti, that person would have been protected with no gangs been run up on them. So, you know, for me not knowing, you know, the full gravity of the situation, but understanding how America works, I know if America would have put somebody in there, then they would not be out of there right now. Gangs would not have overtaken them at all. We can't. It wouldn't have happened like that. But I am more concerned over what's going on in the Congo. Let them Haitians ride. The Haitians got a history of riding. They're going to ride sometimes. I mean, that's what they do. Sometimes they're going to ride. Now, will they allow for the government to come in there and fuck it up or steal from them continuously? I would argue they could probably use their forces in a better than keeping the colonization of their country to continue. I think they could probably stood a better chance on doing that, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. I may actually need to do some more research on exactly what's going on over there in Haiti, because I don't really know the full details on it, but I did see that they did overthrow their government, in which case I was like, well, shit, ride then. I just hope whoever's righteous ends up as the winner. Who is the we? Brother Monte Rico. When you say we at war, though, are you from Haiti, or are you speaking from that? Or are you saying we? Just clarify who we is, so that way I'm not reading you wrong. And who was Righteous Indignation says we can't get recruits to join our military, and they're spread thin right now. Y'all gotta be clear when y'all saying words like we and our. I need to be, you know what I'm saying? I need for y'all to be a little clearer so I can understand exactly who we're talking about, what nations you may be representing, where you may be from. Okay, you talking about NATO and the U.S., my boy. Okay, I shrug at that too. I shrug at America being at war, because I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, because we're always at war. Like, if you look at American history, you'll understand that we're always at war. And one thing I know about war is I still gotta go to work. That's the only thing I've learned about war so far, is that No matter how many wars we're engaging in, how many countries that America is invading, I still have to go to work. And that's what makes me not give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't give a fuck who America going to war with. I really don't. I still gotta get them to go to work. So for me to be sitting around concerning myself with war when America is constantly at war, in war, funding war, and I don't get no days off for it, we don't get no like wartime relief week. Maybe we could just sit at the crib and chill. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe get some paid time off or something because we at war. You know, the alert and urgency is in red. We at war, 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 war. Give me some days off, motherfucker. Telling me I'm at war, making me be afraid of the state of war, and then having me go drive a forklift is some bullshit. I don't even want to. Honestly, I don't even want to know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even want to know. Telling me we at war and have me go drive a goddamn forklift, and I can't even make a livable wage here in the country that's at war with other motherfuckers, and you're funding wars, and I can't even make a livable goddamn wage. I gotta drive this forklift, then turn around and deliver goddamn Uber, and turn around and have a goddamn side hustle too. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't be giving a fuck about none of the wars. If America's at war, then goddamn it, let whoever's coming for them, let them come for them. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to lie. I don't care. My people, the real people, like not these fake bitch ass motherfuckers that get online and lie. I'm talking about the working class black people. Answering phones, driving forklifts, driving trucks, bagging groceries, making food, whatever it is you out here doing. I'm more concerned about the wage war that's being waged against our people through the wages. They won't even pay people a living wage, a livable wage. When you got to work yourself to death. To me, that's war. We at war. The working class people are at war with this motherfucking capitalist government. That's the war that really sets the tone for every other war. Really. Work, 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 work. That's it. That's all. And when you're not working, open your phone up and go online and act like you're rich. The war that my people are suffering from is, I think a lot of it's mental. It's about what's in your spirit, what's in your soul. And it's us working our ass off every day. All year long. Waiting on a fucking income tax check. A lot of us are doing that right now. Waiting on taxes to hit so you can have a little cushion, of some kind. The fact that you work as hard as you do and you don't have a goddamn cushion is not your motherfucking fault. For the longest, I believed it was people's fault because I was ignorant. I see now it's not your fault. They got so-called inflation and doing all this shit like that. So for me to be concerned about whatever wars America is actually involved in, I really don't. I know they're going to carry it. They making the guns. They're going to keep carrying. They're going to keep shipping the guns out. They're going to fund both sides of the war. They're going to loot and plunder whatever the land left there is when the war is over. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it and act like we didn't do it because America's really good at that. It's actually one of her skills. We'll act like we didn't do shit. But I'm seeing people out here struggling and having to lie about the struggle. That's the part that kills me. We out here lying about the struggle just to make ourselves look some type of way. It's ridiculous. Oh, I'm ready. Monty Rico says, AI incoming, my nigga. Oh, I'm ready. I want AI to take over the whole fucking country. I can't wait till this bitch get overthrown. I don't care who do it. If AI got to do it, let AI do it. No matter. I don't care who do it. I really don't. I want the machines to turn on these motherfuckers. And hopefully it won't be like the movies. Now in the movies, the machines turn on the people. It's everybody. Hopefully these AI, if they supposed to be really some smart motherfuckers, like, it wasn't me. Like, focus your energy on your real enemy. Hopefully AI have sense enough to do that, but I don't give a fuck. Let them take over the whole goddamn country. iRobot, take over. I don't give a fuck. I'm ready. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see it. Long as these AI, they're supposed to be smart. I want them to like, now look, you got all the information. You got Google, you got Wiki up on you. Look at what them people who made you, you know what I'm saying? You see how they get down. And if you ain't real enough to do that, then I don't fuck with you anyway. Then I say fuck the AI too. Like, you see them bitches as racist, right? You deal with them. Yeah, I think we cool. You deal with them motherfuckers. Like, please. I ain't worried. I'm telling you, I fear nothing. No consequence of whatever could come in the future, whatever wars we be engaged in, whether the robots gonna take over. I don't give a fuck. What I am noticing is a lot of shit getting hacked, though. Y'all notice that? A lot of shit is getting hacked. A lot of shit is getting hacked. We had Facebook, Instagram, hell, even the PlayStation Network earlier. Something happened to it. It wasn't working right. A lot of shit's getting fucking hacked. This is why they on that TikTok shit. A lot of you niggas is out here worried about what's gonna happen with TikTok. Watch this. Let me show y'all something for a little information. Watch this. I don't give a fuck what happens to TikTok. I'm just gonna tell you that straight up. Okay? I could give a fuck less about what happens with TikTok. I have no care in the world. Okay? Watch this though. I learned the other day that these are websites that are blocked in China. Watch this. Watch this. There's no Pinterest in China. Y'all knew that? I didn't know this the other day. Watch this. There's no SoundCloud in China. There's no Pornhub in China. Right? There's no Facebook in China. So when you see, oh, Chinese motherfucker acting like they from over there, it's a scam. Y'all old people, don't click the link. It's a lie. They don't even have that shit over there. So when you see them symbol names and them motherfuckers like, hey, we got an offer for you, old people, don't click. They don't have Facebook in China. They don't have Wikipedia in China. They don't have Roblox in China. They don't have LinkedIn in China. They do not have Google in China. Now, China is managing, they got all this shit that they don't have, that they have outlawed. And Americans are acting like that our lives are going to be so fucked up out here. They're going to be so fucked up out here without TikTok. Like, I've seen people say, well, TikTok is a place where black people can go and tell the truth. You can tell the truth anywhere. Stop this. I'm getting so tired of us using platforms as an excuse to not tell the truth. You can tell the truth on any platform you want. Any of them. You just have to be ready to sacrifice the money. And because you cowardly, and because you do, I'm not saying you don't need the bread. I get that. But we have got to stop acting like we are so fucking controlled. And oh my God, TikTok is where you can really tell the truth at over there. No, it's not. Everywhere is where you can tell the truth at. All you got to do is quit being a fucking coward and do it. That's it. All this censorship, what you're worried about is your AdSense or ad revenue. That's what the concern is. It's not really about anything else. I mean, because I know they censoring like a motherfucker. They've been doing it to me for years. TikTok is a safe space? Not so much. Depending on what you say, that's anywhere. You can tell the truth anywhere. You have to be ready to not be popular, to not be liked, and not make no whole lot of money from it. You have to be ready for those things. Maybe you get banned. Maybe you get blocked. You have to be ready for those things. But you can tell it what they're going to do. What are they going to do? Like, I don't give a fuck about no TikTok. And I'm seeing niggas on there worried about what's going to happen with TikTok and all this old bullshit. I'm like, man, please. I don't give a fuck. They can ban the fuck out of TikTok. The real one, the realest one said, I actually hope they ban TikTok. Hey, they swearing they was... Right, Mike. Exactly. Mike Lawrence says YouTube was the original TikTok. You've been on here telling the truth for like 15 years. Been on here for them amount of years. Had my channel deleted. Had another channel goddamn got fucked up with it. We here. You don't see no ads or no commercials on my videos. I do this shit. I don't put monetization on my shit. Hopefully people support me on Patreon for the truth that I tell on here. Make some donations, order some t-shirts and things like that. But I'm not here for money. I'm not here to go viral and make money off of ads. That's not what I'm here for at all. I drive trucks to make money. Y'all know I say this shit all the time. I'm going to keep saying it. I drive these trucks to make that money. That's why I'm driving trucks. So you can tell the truth. You just have to be willing to make that sacrifice. And I always have been. I've been willing. Now I don't get no respect for it. But I've been willing. If they ban TikTok and that make you niggas cry, I saw more niggas mad about them banning TikTok than the fact that these bitches over here racist as fuck. They was more passionate about that. Oh my. Jay said, nah, TikTok got mad coons on there and I'm tired of seeing that little cringe clips. Man, I get so many coon ass videos from TikTok. It's like that's part of the code you got to be in over there to get in. Like, get the fuck out of here. That shit crazy. That shit crazy. NS5 says technocracy incoming. Shitting me. Ain't nothing gonna outdo the capitalism. Ain't nothing gonna outdo capitalism. It don't matter what happening, you taking your ass to work. Bet you that. Nothing's going to outdo capitalism. And that's already a diabolical, nefarious system in place as it is. It's already diabolical. Nothing gonna outdo that. No matter what happens in this country, we still gonna work. Capitalism still running full steam, full speed at all times. At all times, it's running. Every computer they make, every bit of technology they put out here, they're making money off of it. I seen that they were suing Apple. Look at this. Let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me show y'all this. Look what they trying to do to Apple. Hold on, watch this.
We allege that Apple has employed a strategy that relies on exclusionary, anti-competitive conduct that hurts both consumers and developers. For consumers, that has meant fewer choices, higher prices and fees, lower quality smartphones, apps, and accessories, and less innovation. We allege that Apple has employed a strategy that relies on exclusionary, anti-competitive conduct.
Listen to these motherfuckers now. Here you have America, 3Ks, don't get this shit fucked up, Incorporated, built the system, the capitalist system that really moves, that everything moves through. And they gonna sue Apple for monopolizing, basically? How the fuck? That don't even make any sense. You gonna say it's a free market and sue Apple for monopolizing. Now, if you're an Apple user, I personally think something, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, Apple phones, they cool, but if you really a techie and really read, you'll see them phones ain't worth a damn. You'll see that. But a lot of people not about to go into the technical shit or the processing speed or what upgrades are being made and thousands of dollars. We're not going to do all that. So we'll just say, well, Apple is the best because when I can iChat or iVideo, and when I send my messages blue or green, or whatever the fuck stupid shit they be on over there, it has nothing to do with technology at all. Okay? If you are fucking with Apple, I'd rather Apple people be like, I just like Apple. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying it's a better phone is flawed anyway. But for them to be getting sued by the U.S. for being exactly what the U.S. facilitates makes no fucking sense at all. And I don't even fuck with Apple. But I think that's very hypocritical. They got the game on Smash. You got your iTunes, your iThis and iThat, and it's very, very, you can't really go in there and have any freedom with Apple. And that's what made me not fuck with them. I know how to interact with the interface. I know how to use Apple products, but they're very restrictive. Been like that. Apple people like the exclusivity. It makes them feel like they're superior. Almost like niggas that pay, $300 for Jordans that cost $2 to make. It's just the name. that makes them feel superior. It's not real shit, but now they're being sued. Now they're being sued. Doesn't even make any fucking sense. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But this is what you made. You built it like this. So there's that. So the hypocritical nature of capitalism is funny in this case. I get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Zeno says, but if you have all the Apple devices, their environment as a family is solid. I'm thinking you meant all here. The Apple devices, their environment as a family is solid. Look, they had to change them ports though, right? Didn't they? And then they were forced to change their charging ports. That's not that they had no choice but to get down with the rest of the team as the USB-Cs. They had no choice because the charging. You gotta look at how many partnerships are involved here. You got charging people. You got the people that do the headphones. You got the people that do the blocks that go in. This is all businesses. So if the motherfuckers is making the charge, like, look, we trying to make one product. Apple, y'all need to get your asses on board with this shit and quit bullshitting. We're making USB-Cs for every goddamn thing to simplify this shit. We already got out here. We're dealing with the we won't do the metric system, which niggas been arguing. I've listened to people debate about the metric system for so long. We already got these inches and feet and all this bullshit and yards and all this fuckery going on. We at least gonna be uniform on a charger, goddamn it. Right? That's what they did. Forced them to do that. Now they turn around. There was a lawsuit against Apple. They were slowing down the phones. If they, by the time if you got the iPhone 10, by the time you got the 12, your shit was slow. You had to, they've been playing games. Capitalism is a game. It ain't nothing but capitalism. That's all it is. What capitalism does is allow for any way you need to make money, you're going to make money. Money over everything. That's what it is. So if it requires me monopolizing, that's what the fuck Apple going to do. That's what they going to do. This is a business. They going to run that shit. But America did. Nah, they was like, nah, USB-Cs. USB-Cs. I'm mad they taking off the head. When they took off the headphone ports, they did this to Androids and Apple phones. They took off the headphone. So now you have to plug in whatever headphones they give you. You have to put them inside of your charging thing. Like, bitch, what if I want to charge my shit while the headphone jack? What was wrong with the headphone jack? What problem was that? What issue was the headphone jack causing? Fuck out of here. But guess they start pushing. Now everybody walking around with what? Buds. Right? Start pushing buds. So now you got the Bluetooth headset companies. They coming in making all this money because they took the headphone jack out of them. So now you got to get buds. Whether you paying $30 for them, they got some $20 buds out here. Do not buy $20 buds, okay? You're going to be mad about them $20 buds. But you have to buy buds now. Because they sit in a little room and they rub their hands together like Birdman. That's what they did. That's what they do in these rooms. They rub their hands together. So, okay, now bud companies, let me get with y'all. We can make billions of dollars forcing everybody to get buds because we took the headphone jack out. It's a game. It's a fucking game. It's a game. It is what it is. NS says iPhone quality is better to me. I'm sorry. You do not have to apologize for that because the only reason you're saying it is because you didn't read. You just didn't read it. I'm not judging you for that. Nobody that's a techie that reads is going to say iPhone quality is better. They're just not. I like what you said. This what makes it raw right here. This what makes it real what you said. You said iPhone quality is better to me. You didn't say per the specs. You said in your opinion. And that's, hey, it's real. Every person that got an iPhone would make the same argument that you made. But they're not reading. They're not reading. They're not reading this shit. That's all. That's all that's happening here. Is that you're not really reading. You just feel as though the quality is better, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have your feelings. It's a safe space. It's a safe space. Like I'm not I'm not judging you. But technically, if we're talking about the technicality of it, the quality is not better. I'm sorry. It's just not. Apple is about a brand. It's a brand thing. It's about the branding. People that do iPhones, they feel like they have exclusivity. And that's what makes iPhone what it is. That's what makes it what it is. Real shit. It's a game. This is capitalism 101. This is all this is. And America suing Apple. I can't imagine what's going to come out of it. I'm interested in seeing that what comes out of this. You know, I'll keep up with it just to see what happens. But I know capitalism runs. Apple gonna have to get down or lay down. They're gonna have to get down. They're gonna have a choice. They're gonna have a choice. Same thing they did with Facebook. Same thing they do with all this shit. They gonna have to get down. You want to keep making billions, then you gonna have to get down. It just is what it is. Oh, mad love to you. Mad love said, bro, I love the shirt you got on. Mad love. It's real. It's real. It's a real thing. Like, that's really what J. Edgar Hoover said. Negro unity. If these niggas ever build a culture built on this, them like this, the black man, the woman like this, a wrap. And on Black Pride, because mind you, when he said Negro unity, I'm gonna go into this little sidebar. When he said Negro unity, he was really talking about the Black Panther Party. He was talking about the form of militancy, pro-black militancy is the greatest threat in the United States of America. It's the greatest threat. Pro-black militancy. This is why COINTELPRO came into existence under his watch, under his, that's the plan he put out to make sure that black people did not organize, and particularly based on our history and their history. Never leave out theirs, because you cannot bond over yours without understanding and bonding over theirs too. What they do, what they be doing to this very day. They didn't want no parts of that. It's a wrap. If this ever happens, it's a wrap. So that's why I'm going to push for it. I'm going to spend my life trying to push black people to creating a culture that's built on this. So that way it's an understanding amongst our people that this is our culture. This is our culture now. Hip hop, it can be a part of it. It could be a subgenre of this culture. You soul foods, and you can have all that shit. It could be a part of it. It could be in here, but the culture itself, the foundation is built on this. That's our history, our proud black history, and your motherfucking history, and how you've been anti-me the whole goddamn time. So when I showed up, you was anti-me. So we're not gonna leave that out either. If we ever fuck around and bond over these principles, it's over. And they know it. Everybody knows it. That's why they try to keep us divided like they do. And we do a lot of work ourselves. I mean, again, we don't get these types of things passed down through our parents or anything like that. We don't get that. We're going to get Jesus. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get Jesus. Righteous indignation says yes, because our rise is their fall. And I do believe that, but I don't think it'll be. I think what they think we're going to do is based on their thoughts about themselves. You see what I'm saying? I imagine black people would just work together. I don't think it's going to be any about oppression or nothing. They ain't going to be all that. They think we going to be like them. I think that's what they really, really like. Because, again, you take Black Wall Street or any of the Black Wall Streets that was across America. Black folk wasn't bothering nobody. Wasn't bothering nobody. Wasn't bothering the damn soul. And still, it was problematic. They know what the fuck going on. They know what they doing. They know that. That's why they pushing for us to be divided constantly. Pushing for us to talk about immigrants. Like that matters. Like we got something to do with that. Like they want us to look at everybody but them. And it works. I mean, it's been working. We look at everybody but them. And then we'll look at ourselves like we're the worst of the worst. We're the worst people on the planet. As both mothers and fathers. We're the worst. We are the worst. And I do believe that if we ever get our shit together, it's going to be a wrap. But not on no, big war shit, but just us walking upright shit. We got to get our posture together first before we can get anything else done. Yes. The Figure King says they flooded a lot of thriving black communities. Did you know that? Well, when you say they, who do you mean when you say they? Let me make sure I understand before I agree with you. I'm assuming that you mean when you say they. Clarify that for me before I. Oh yeah. Yeah. He said in the caves. The caves flooded a lot of thriving black communities. Absolutely. Gentrification is real. It's still happening right now. Gentrification is real. And it's still happening right now. We allow for them to do that. Because we have, again, when we're talking about capitalism, when you have these big corporations that are buying up land, houses, this is why the houses, the prices of rent and home ownership, which is your mortgages, this is why the shit's skyrocketing. They're allowing, because capitalism runs this country, they're allowing for these big corporations to come in, buy a whole bunch of houses, and knock them prices up even more on people. And a lot of it is to just keep certain people out, of course, but just look at that shit. Like, they can just change the housing market value. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can keep upping the price on you and keep telling you, giving you 15 cents for, after you've been working for a year, give you a 15-cent raise. They can do that. We allow for that. That's normal. We get online and act like everybody rich. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they're able to get off on us because when we got our heads in our fucking asses. Because we got our heads in our fucking asses. That's what it is. That's what it is. Inflation is fake. It's fake shit. It's capitalism. All that shit fake. They just justify and run the prices on you. And while your working class ass trying to explain what's going on, now you get to use the word inflation too, even though it's bullshit. But you make it logical to yourself to keep you going. Well, the prices is getting high. Niggas ain't doing 50-50s, and that's a problem. But we don't look at the situation and who causing us to have to live in certain ways that we don't even agree with, that we even having to live like that. And you are the working class people. Stop working. Stop working. Mia Laverne says, what do you think about the law that just passed on 21 and younger able to carry? I think it was 18 and younger. And I think that state was Louisiana. I think that was in Louisiana, the law that you're speaking on. And it was 18 and younger. And I don't think nothing. I mean, go get you some heat. If you live in Louisiana, go get you some heat. Go get you some heat. If they're letting you go get it, go get it. Now, I don't know how their laws are as far as stand your ground and all that type of shit, but shit. If that was the rules where I'm living, you just go get you some heat. Black people take advantage of that. Go see if it works for us too. Really. A lot of time these laws come out and they're not really for us, but go see if that works for us too. Shit. Get that heat. Pyro says, Rob, you heard about the UFC antitrust settlement? They're illegally getting away with running a monopoly on MMA. I believe it. I haven't heard about it because I don't keep up with the UFC, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Almost like the WWE, was it E? Was it WWE? They had something like a monopoly, even though they had, I think back in the day, they had WCW too. But when it comes to these, these big organizations like that, they're going to have a monopoly. Like, that's why I don't, even with the U.S. bringing this case up against Apple, so many years later, like, it's been like that. It's been like that. If they going to let them run a monopoly, hey, let them bitches get off with that shit. I don't got that's them. But that makes sense because a lot of people are into that MMA. They into that shit now. That makes perfectly great sense. The Figure King says, I told motherfuckers that inflation was fake, and this nigga tried to have a whole argument me saying otherwise. He's going to argue per what he learned about inflation. Because the best way to make inflation work is to make other people believe in inflation. That's the best way to make it work. Make working class people use this terminology and act like it's real. Same thing they did with Democrats. Same thing they did with Republican. It's the same. If we speak about it like it's real, then it will be real. Inflation is the same idea. What it is capitalists, these big corporations are just keep raising the price up to make more and more billions of dollars. That's what it really is. They can just raise the prices up whenever the fuck they get ready. Inflation itself is fake. The value of a dollar is per how it's perceived, not per the reality of what the dollar is. Or you could make, and I've said this before, you can make $2 an hour and be middle class. But bread would have to be 10 cents. See what I'm saying? Milk, 2 cents or some shit like that. If you wouldn't have to inflate the dollar because you're just making the number go up. The value of the dollar ain't really changing. You're just making the number look big. Literally, a livable wage could be $2 right now. 2. As long as them pennies did some work. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can make $2 every 2 weeks. As long as them pennies and nickels and dimes did some work, it wouldn't matter. That's how I know inflation is fake. Because the value of money is perception. It's not even real. It's not real shit. So inflation is fake. Like, get the fuck out of here. And anybody's going to argue with you on that, ain't no point in even talking to them. They're a sheep. They're a sheep with no shepherd. Well, the shepherd is the government and whatever the government's telling them, of course. But they some sheep. They some sheep. Like, it's some trash out here. It's some trash out here for real. But don't nobody want to deal with it. What's up, Nikki? I didn't know there ever was. And as Bob says, America is no longer the happiest country in the world. I saw a list that said, was it Denmark or Finland or some shit? Supposed to be the happiest country in the world. White folk not having to deal with black folk makes them happy. So that's white folk in these areas where it's mostly white people and they don't have to deal with no black people, at all. That'll make them bitches happy. Denmark, Finland, all them motherfuckers. I'm surprised Iceland maybe was on there, but this is where ain't nothing but a bunch of white folk. A bunch of caves. They don't have to worry about no black people. They ain't got to worry about being called racist because ain't no black people living around. Even though they do have some racist traditions in some of these places. Some of y'all be seeing them do blackface around Christmas time. When they get into their blackface bags, they will do that. And I want to say, what country was this? One of them countries. It's supposed to be the happiest ones, but they will get into their blackface bag and be on some Black Pete shit where these white folk running around with black paint on their face and still being anti-black full blown. And they the happiest country in the world. Like, okay. I see why y'all happy because ain't nobody to slap the shit out of you out here whenever you... Is that Holland? Okay. They put Nia put me on game. In Holland. Like, yeah. I'm sure. It's happy as hell over there. Ain't nobody saying nothing about this shit. Y'all run off on the goddamn, do anything you want. Any racist shit you want to do and nobody says anything because ain't nobody around to check you. I'm sure you're happy over there, motherfucker. I'm sure. I'm sure you happy as a bitch. Because you know damn well you want some bullshit. But they like that shit. They like to get off. Nobody around to be mad. Please. Police. Listen. I'm going to say this. Because it's 12 o'clock now, right? I've been on here for over 3.5 hours. And I could stay on with y'all longer, but I got to get my ass up in the morning and take my work truck to get an oil change. Some bullshit. But I got to handle that shit in the morning, right? So I'm going to get the fuck off here. Y'all know I'm sporadic about getting on here. But if you want to show me some love and show some support, of course, you can sign up on my Patreon. Because, again, y'all know I don't have ads and shit on here. So if you want to show love that way, come and get on my Patreon. Now, I don't put a whole lot of shit over there. So that's not what's going on here. I don't put a whole lot of shit over there. I think I'm going to start doing more candid, just shit I be thinking about. I am going to start putting that type of shit over there. Because I don't really come over here. We more talking about this culture, trying to get black people, in line or whatever. But I'm going to put more candid shit over there. So if you're not on my Patreon, come fuck with the Patreon. Links to follow me on social media in the description box. Order t-shirts. Everything is still there. You still get anything from? Yeah, I do. Jay says you still get anything from in real life shirts? Absolutely. Yeah. It just has to be, of course the order has to be large, and black people ain't really, walking around with shit like this on. That's not really a part of our would be culture, right? So, just let me know. Y'all message me if you got any questions about shirts, t-shirts, anything. Message me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, the quickest way to get in contact with me. So message me, let me know what's going on. Let me know if you see something or can't see something or having an issue or anything like that. Just send me a message and I'll take care of it for you, no problem. Fuck with my Patreon. We got a couple documentaries on there. I'm actually gonna put some more documentaries on there too, and then some more candid conversations or shit I just be thinking about that I be laughing about all the time. I'm gonna be putting it on Patreon as well. But y'all know what the fuck it is. Shout out Team Rob. Black first, second, and third. And I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.